and Brisbane Bears star Matthew Campbell. Welcome.
Yes, start of the game. 23 there is Thomas Waltham, taking over the ruck duties this season from Simon Feast and also Barnaby French, who've both gone into the AFL football this season. Waltham again up against Damien Brown. David Brown takes a chance here for his first touch of the afternoon. Great comeback by David Brown. Powell's in there, taken very aggressively there. In comes Tregenza over the top. The ball comes out, the ball will be marked and returned. The double Blues here have a chance to go forward through Lennon. He misses the ball that he should have taken. Morgan comes in. It was taken fairly high there by Waltham. Coming hard was Beaky. Threadgold's there as well. He kicked is awkward, which finds the Premier. He couldn't take it. Comes back again to Lennon. Lennon needs to get the ball moving quickly. Comes out to the Premier. He'll give the handball across. He does that. Which way will they go now? This is Squire. Goes out towards Lennon. Good spoil. Great courage there shown by Carter, but has given the free kick away. Umpires also, it's just a little bit high there with the spoil over the shoulder. A 25-metre penalty has been given to Bruce Lennon. Carter not too happy with the result. This should bring, I believe, Bruce Lennon within distance. I'll bring up the first major for the afternoon. It kicks on its way. A nice, long, strong kick. It's gone over the back of the pack, just touched. The umpires put up the two fingers. The first major for the afternoon goes to the double Blues.
What a great start from Mark Naley. Bruce Lennon's a very good player. He's moved into the middle today, of course, with the absence of Brodie Atkinson. And he's a good kick for goals. He just proved there. He got the distance. Leasy and, it looks like Big Daniel Brown claiming it would be a touch, but of course the goal umpire's right there and he would have made a correct decision, no doubt.
6 points margin to the double Blues. So a good start. The ball will be put down again in the middle of the ground. We see Damien Brown going for check side, thumps the ball towards his direction. Stingling came through. The double Blues defence holds strong. They kick the ball up towards wide at centre half forward on Brian Lees this afternoon. That'll be a great contest. Squire comes out with a going back, showing great courage there with Jared Poulton. He takes a safe mark.
Jared Poulton, the improvement in his game over the last few seasons has been outstanding, and that's why he made himself an AFL player this year.
Carr brings it down the members' wing. Both players holding onto each other there. The umpire calls play on. Maloney comes towards the boundary line. Quite happy to see it out over the line in front of Stinkley.
Could have been a bit of hanging on there between Obst and King, so interesting result there. Just let it play on.
Ball's thrown in. Walton again coming across with Weatherall onto his right leg, over his left shoulder. Ball's gone out of bounds. It must have been touched on the way through. The boundary umpire will throw it back in.
It's going to be a pretty fierce contest today. Both sides are very good. Both defences are very tight, so there won't be too much given away.
Good crowd here at Adelaide Oval, as you'd expect. We've had 22,000 and 18,000 in the last couple of years. Geddes flicks it out quickly, but it was just a little too slick, wasn't it? And Powell has taken and claimed in the final analysis. McGuinness just wrapped him up. And Ashley.
You notice the tackling of both sides will be straight at the hips. It'll be disciplined, and I'll tell you what, you're going to earn your kicks here today, as was the case in 98.
Ron Bettridge puts the ball to ground. 23 is Waltham for Sturt. Takes front position, but doesn't get the tap. Ashley off the ground, grubbers one into a pocket. Crashing out Filippo, very cleverly done. Obst around the corner, puts it to the head of the square. Good discipline for Port Adelaide, it's paid the dividend. Vicky's marked right on the 10-metre line. What a beauty.
He is a fantastic player, really. I just wish the Crows would give him a go when the conditions suited. He got his opportunity up in Brisbane, but it was wet and he really didn't get an opportunity there. But have a look at that for a mark. He keeps his eye on the ball, he's courageous, and he goes straight through it.
Well, his final series last year really earned him a berth with the Crows. He was just outstanding in the big games, Tim, and today he's opened up in fine style again.
He has. He's just kicked the goal for the Magpies. That's their first, so it's 1 goal apiece. Nothing in this game at the moment, as you'd understand, but Brian Binky for mine, and guys, you might just want to float back a few years now. He reminds me a lot of Tony Hall, the way Tony Hall would just see a pack forming and be able to crash in it or come across the front of it and take the marks. And similar height type player as well, Mark Gnarly.
Yes, showing plenty of courage, both Tony Hall and also Brian Binky this afternoon. Had a magnificent 98 final series to Brian Binky. But back here, you're live and exclusive to ABC Sport this afternoon. This will be an absolute cracker-jacker game. We see coach Stephen Williams, Paul Belton in front. And we see Brown again going for the check side. Waltham this time thumps it forward. Comes out, chance from Squire. He kicks the ball up forward. Coming out hard was Kennett. Couldn't take it. Ball comes over the back towards Quit. Polton's in there as well. Ducks his head. Gives the ball across. Looked like Burgoyne coming through. 26 is Morgan. It was Carr, in fact. Comes back to Lees. Lees changed direction. Goes out wide. Finds Carter. Carter's met fairly aggressively by Kennett. He's a pretty tough customer. The umpire gives 25 metres as well.
Well, there's not a lot in that, was there really? Toby Kennett just trying to be aggressive, trying to hold him on his mark, and in the end he gave away 25.
I think the umpire said he held on too long. That was the reasoning for that. Northeast midfield. State player way back in 1991, but hasn't he given them great service since?
Well, he's been one of the best, hasn't he? One of the best defenders and one of the most feared.
Certainly the toughest. High ball in. Brown, first kick, goes towards goal. The skipper. It bounces the wrong side of the post. It would have been a dream start for him wearing the #1 jumper after being in number 21 for all those years.
Would have been outstanding, but Brownie just snuck it through. He didn't have a lot of room to move there, so in the end it was a pretty clever kick, and it gives the Magpies the lead by a solitary point.
Threadgold looks towards Lennon. He goes in that direction.
Good duel today, Lennon versus Morgan.
Ball's kicked up, looking for Stephen White. White's against Lees. Lees thumps the ball towards the boundary line. Tregenza comes in to take possession. Run out of space and gets thrown into the fence.
Tim, I guess you've got to ask the question how White's going to play Lees. He's a very difficult player to play on.
He shouldn't go one-on-one with Lees. Lees will beat him every time, probably. I think he's just a little bit too strong for him. He should keep away and take those high marks that he's capable of.
Weatherall flicks it out. Dispatching the kick forward was Patura. Loose ball, Woosden over the top, Lennon, slick one. Off it goes to Geddes. Forward to centre half forward. Soderstrom caught underneath the ball, couldn't take it. Twitt applied good pressure. Port Adelaide are applying their own pressure too. Bolton was outstanding in that contest, and now Woosden needs to go hard at it. He did so. Good crashing tackle, Carr over the top, and what's the umpire said? It's a free kick to the Double Blues. It was too high.
I'm going to have a look at this because I really don't believe it was too high. Look at this. That is very technical free kick, but congratulations to Bruce Lennon for crashing in.
Umpire was caught on the blind, so wasn't he? Kennett straight to goal. Big fly, Burton right on the line. Oh, it showed great courage because he could have shepherded it through.
Well, I suppose he would have taken the risk that Pedler might have got a hand to it, so Burton did the right thing, came over the top, took the mark. I think in the end he did the correct thing, and it's going to be a good battle today between Burton and Pedler. Old teammates from over on the West Coast.
14 goals, 3 for the year, 15-3 now. Sits equal second, equal third now on the ladder of goal kickers.
Well, Sturt now moving on to 2 goals, 5-point lead over Port Adelaide. And that was Lennon's good work in the centre of the ground here. He crashed in, received a free kick, got the ball moving quickly. They drove it into the square, and it was a good grab by Burton in the end. He couldn't take the risk, I don't think. He did the correct thing.
The Double Blues camp there. Phil Carman standing up with his head trainer, Nick Swingler, just giving him instructions.
No, he's sending out a water bottle. Mark.
Ball's down again. Walton gets his hand to it. Woosden will come across. Good work there by Morgan. He takes it and also receives the free kick. Morgan gets to his feet quickly, gets back, turns the head around, looks up towards centre half forward. The kick wasn't good, looking for McGuinness. Good work there by Maloney over the top. McGuinness is in there again. And the man in white will come in and ball it up.
I just reckon he could have kept his head up there and taken that mark. It's allowed Port to keep it in their forward line.
Great atmosphere here at Adelaide Oval. The holiday Monday. The ball comes around the corner. Back there going hard was Binky. couldn't take the bounce. The ball be thrown in.
Just a bit worried with the tactics of Damien Brown here against Tom Waltham in the middle of the ground. He's trying to check side him. He's obviously lacking the leaping power or lapping the wants to get in one-on-one. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out today.
Waltham handballs it out to Geddes, who kicked it forward. Phillippo claims it, gets away a handball. Weatherall was very good as he just crashed through and took the ball uncompromising. Tough and fast and took the hard line. White goes to the back door. Lee just flicks it over the shoulder, and there's Weatherall yet again. He's covering plenty of ground.
He was, but he had to make up for what was a terrible kick off the inside of his boot. He didn't get onto it at all, and it just scrubbed it out towards the boundary line. But he did the right thing. When you make a mistake, you just got to make up for it straight away, and that's what he did.
The throw in was taken by Powell. Got it down to Irvin. He gets the kick up forward. Heads towards centre half forward. Soderstrom's in there as well. Up there with Brown. Woosnam with his head over the ball couldn't take it. Dragenza ends up with it. He dodges and weaves a couple of players. Couldn't get around Woosnam. In there again is Brown. And good work by one of the smallest players out there to stop the big ruckman was young Twit.
Yeah, good tackle here. Good work there. Woosnam in there as well.
This is the time when players really think that it's just trying to break the opposition, Tim, and some teams don't break until 20 minutes into the final quarter. Some teams break now and the game just opens up.
I don't think you'll see either side break here today. It's going to be one of those ones that goes down to the wire.
Well, we saw Norwood and Port, didn't we, a couple of years ago? Monstrous margin. Port Adelaide broke early, Norwood ran away 122 points. And I think Port Adelaide replayed the favour here middle of last year.
It can happen, but I just believe the two defences of these sides and the way they play are very, very tough and very similar. So I can't see one getting a real big advantage over the other.
Port Adelaide have the meanest defence in the competition. Here comes Brown, 55 out and closing. He goes towards goal. It's a perfect day, but he's missed again. He's had 2 kicks for goal, David Brown, and resulted in 2 points.
He'd normally swallow those, Brownie. He's obviously just out of touch. It's his first game back. Beautiful piece of work through the centre of the ground. He got great distance with his kicking, so he'd be very happy with that after having some trouble with the foot.
Threadgold Waite just hangs onto the football, looking for a player to be loose. He now goes a long kick. Coming in there is Lennon to take from the front of the pack. Neither side being able to get an advantage there. The ball will be thrown up. Half-forward flank for the Magpies.
Looks like Binky's going to have to do the ruck work here, so just a little short.
Ball's put down. 23 was Waltham. Chance again. Great strength shown there by North East. The ball's high. Chance for Phillippo to jump at it. Held well there.
That's fantastic.
Threadgold comes down to Brown. This time Brown makes no mistake. He brings up his first major for the afternoon.
Well, third time lucky for Brownie. A great piece of roving as the contest between Phillippo and Threadgold was good. Threadgold got his ground there, took his run. The punch away came. You watch North East just pump it in long here. Just hanging on there, got away with that. The punch away by Phillippo was smart. Brownie roved it beautifully. True Rover's goal, snapped it over his right shoulder. And third time lucky for David Brown, got his goal. 1 goal, 2 to him. And the Magpies move on to 2 goals, 2. Just leading Sturt by 2 points, 2 goals straight.
They're back in front, the Magpies. We've played just on 13.5 minutes into the first quarter. Waltham up and down, but gave away a free kick to the umpire. Infringed with the arm over the shoulder.
At this stage, David, I'm not excited about the ruck work of Damien Brown. We might have to throw down to Michael Parsons to just see what he can make of it, but he's got a free kick on this occasion, but every time Tommy Waltham's got over the top and got his hand to the ball, so I'm a bit concerned with it at this stage.
What are your thoughts, Michael?
Yeah, it's an interesting option, fellas, where he's just trying to get around, break that rule where the line's across the middle of the circle, but there's a good fly. But I think as the game wears on, if he doesn't start getting his hand on the ball, he'll have to revert back to just some classic ruck work and make a competition of it.
Fair enough. Play on, said the umpire. Players crashing through. Carter was very good at the contest, and so was Geddes. Gee, Tim, think back, Carter delisted by the Power, but it was only, 95 and 96. He was one of the first picked in the state. Jumper.
Yes, he was one of the first picked on the Powers list, so he had an unfortunate first year and he got dropped because of it, so it was a bit disappointing for him. The way he bounced back last year was superb, and He's in the contest once again as the ball goes out of bounds right in front of our commentary box.
I thought his grand final was terrific. One error where he was a bit undisciplined on twit in the grand final was his only blemish really in the whole final series.
Well, I'd let him go with one error.
I think you would. That's the point I'm making. He was just terrific.
Hurrah, man, DB.
Oh, no. I'm a fan of Stevie Carter's, to be fair. I have been for a long time. I just watch him. He's a prodigious talent. Waltham from behind wins the tap. It falls to ground. It was McGuinness on the left who turns it around the corner into space. It went. Forward go the Magpies. Binky one step and shoots for goal. That was a clever kick. A very clever kick. Great team goal, Port Adelaide, creating something out of nothing.
Well, there's a bit of a dust-up too. Wasn't happy with the attention from Scott Robinson afterwards. And all the boys are into it now. They'll sort themselves out shortly, but that's going to be the sort of pressure that's going to be on all day today. The boys are very feisty. They're a tough, hard defence, Sturt, and Brian Binky just wasn't happy with the attention afterwards. He busted through to get over to Robinson and have a chat to him. And that's all it was. It was a chat.
Good old-fashioned melee. That's what we want to see in SANFL football. Down at the boundary line, Michael Parsons.
Yeah, just to bring you up to speed with the benches to start the game, Ferguson, Catanari and Richter, who often starts on the ground, but taking a seat to start the game this time. And for Port Adelaide, Spanagel, Orman Allen and Vines.
Thank you, Michael, for keeping us up to date with the benches. Back to the game. Ball comes out wide. Urban will take it, will come inside. He slips over the middle of the ground, then has time to be able to turn and get back onto his left leg. It goes high now, looking for Woosnam up there. He'll go at it again, Woosnam. Head down, tail up, throws himself at the football. The Magpies defence standing true. McGuinness gets it across to Poulton. Poulton will run through, nearly taken there by Bruce Lennon. Just caught him out of the corner of his left eye, then heads towards centre half forward. Big thump from behind, good discipline by Stingling. Comes out, a chance here through, looks like Ashley. Ashley goes up, great mark taken by Binky. That was sensational, and that's his third. A great start by Ryan Binky.
Brian Binky. Well, we were talking about it earlier, weren't we, when he took the first mark, about the way Tony Hall takes grabs, and he's just done it again. But great work back in their defence with Northeast. Holton running the ball all the way up. Brown front and centre. He is roving brilliantly at the moment. Very disciplined. Everybody else was too close in the contest. Brown sat back. Ashley got his kick away. Look at this grab, running backwards. He didn't know what was there. Great work by Philippo too, just to hold out Threadgold at the last minute.
Unbelievable. Port Adelaide go to 4-2, and Sturt are 2 straight goals here at Adelaide Oval. Waite flicks it out. Morgan around the corner. It's a high bomb towards half forward. Patura drops back underneath it and takes a chest mark. He covered some ground, Tim, didn't he?
He did. He's very quick. Very quick player.
Patura, left footer, underneath the ball, one-handed Waltham and Brown. It's an interesting contest, that one. Morgan playing on Lennon, playing a little wide of each other at this stage. Back it goes. Robertson tried to crash through. Threadgold stood his ground and just dispatched a kick forward in hope, but in the finish, Waite to McGuinness was clever. A short, sharp one in the direction of Binky. It's the first one he's missed all day.
That's incredible.
Now, Threadgold thumped it across the line. The crowd, the Port Adelaide crowd, cheered for a deliberate.
I think it was well and truly over the line by the time Chris Threadgold got to it. But look, Brian Binky's taken some spectacular marks, and that one was as standard as you get, went straight through.
Chance again through Brown. He throws the ball out looking for the running ops. Couldn't get it across here now. The double blues, quick exchange of handballs, finally found a little bit of space. The ball goes up. That was from Woosnam. Thumped down in front of White from Lees from behind. Coming through hard at the back was Carr. Couldn't take it. Brown, the big fella's in there. Taken again by Woosnam and put to the ground. Umpire will come in. Middle of the ground here at Adelaide Oval. Sensational conditions. Would have to say in the vicinity of around about 15,000 fellas. 15,000 people, fellas.
That's a good guess, I reckon.
You might be right, Mark. It would be about what I'd guesstimate. And I think it'll swell after half-time too, as it generally does at Adelaide Oval. The ball's gone flat.
Well, I reckon with the way the boys, both sides are hitting this footy, I reckon they might have knocked the air out of it, David.
I think Brian Binky would want to go and souvenir that first ball. It's belonged to him, hasn't it? 3 goals in the opening 19 minutes of this match. He has starred. So the West End footy goes flat. And we'll restart the game. 19.5 minutes into the first quarter. David Brown just left it behind. Slick work from Squire. Around the corner went Weatherall. It's a high bomb, and Tregenza sits underneath it. Good carriage. When he's playing well, Simon Tregenza, doesn't he just look slick and sharp?
He does at that, and he's worked particularly hard this pre-season, and he's just going to keep getting the footy and put his name up in lights.
Waite, importantly, just thumped the ball forward. It wasn't a stat, but an important touch nonetheless. McGuinness around the corner and over the shoulder. It was desperate work, but this time it doesn't come off.
Yeah, McGuinness just trying to get the quick kick moving there, and this time it didn't pay off, but he's just got to keep assisting at it.
We may just get a weather update pretty shortly from Michael Parsons, and I just believe that the Magpies would be advantaged by around about a 2-goal breeze down there.
Yes, Mark, you're right on the money there. 2 or 3 goal breeze. It is blowing down to the end, favouring Port, and they're making the most of it at this stage.
Port Adelaide go back into attack. Underneath it was Waltham. He couldn't get it away. Geddes comes crashing through. Hasn't he been solid in the opening quarter of this match? Out wide. White couldn't get it. Irvin applies pressure on Waite. Big ruckman in Brown. Forces the ball forward. Here's Geddes again. Got his hands to the ball. Couldn't quite control it. Robertson down the throat of Geddes. Was good teamwork. And now one-handed to Irvin.
Going to be a good battle today, Irvin versus Waite out there. Two very good wingmen, so Irvin winning that battle at that occasion.
That was his first stat, if I'm right. And Waite.
Kick. Irvin. Yeah.
Waite has been going pretty well. Well, there's the flag mark. You're quite right about the breeze. Port Adelaide have a unique knack, Tim, of using the breeze in big games and really opening up the contest.
Yeah, they only got a 2-goal lead at the moment. I suppose if that's what the breeze worth, and that's what they've got. But I think they want to be 3 or 4 up at quarter time because Sturt will use it pretty well. Carr to
Lees was tough, and Lees caught one high, but the advantage rule is allowed to run, and here comes Tregenza. The day's made for him. Firm and fast. Forward it goes to Filippo. Under pressure from Threadgold. He couldn't quite complete the mark, and now the double Blues defence need to work even harder. Fraser crashes through. He got through very easily. Morgan got through too as well. Sturt, that was their trademark last year. They stopped him dead. Today, Port Adelaide are getting through. Threadgold thumps it to ground. Loose ball picked up by McGuinness. It's a high bomb towards the goal. Oh, Phil, well done. A stab on the left. Very clever.
Well, we spoke about a minute earlier about how Phil McGuinness gets the ball on the boot very quickly and to just keep persisting with it as the last one went out in the full. But on this occasion, look at Danny Morgan's work here through the centre. Great stuff there. Drove it in long. McGuinness and Brown roving very well. Threadgold did the right thing, punched away from his opponent, but the crummers for the Magpies are all front and centre, and they're covering a wide arc around the front of the ball. It's a very disciplined roving unit at the moment.
32 plays 12, a 20-point margin to the Magpies. Waltham again gets his hand on the ball. He's getting his hand on the ball, just not being able to direct it at this stage to his smaller running players in that midfield. Some great work there by Power just to hold things up on Morgan. A couple of tough customers there. And down at the boundary, Michael Parsons.
Yes, Mark, Coach Carman has made a change. Catanari coming on from Soderstrom. He'll be standing Jared Polton, and I think that's a bit of a tougher ask for Jared than probably the slower Soderstrom in the forward pocket.
Well, comes up a chance here for the double Blues to go forward. The lead by Burton was good. The kick wasn't as good. White comes up, was looking for support. Comes back to Burton. Burton within kicking range on his left leg. He's brought it back beautifully. That's his second major to Julian Burton. The Blues hit back.
Well, at the 23-minute mark of the first quarter, that's probably the one thing that Stephen Williams wouldn't have liked, was to Sturt to hit back with the goal into the breeze, and they did it very well, the way they ran it up. Good hands. White just waited and waited for the right opportunity, and then laid it off at the last minute to Burton, who's attacking the ball well at the moment. Look at this beautiful work by Big White. He's got such good skills for a big fella. I don't think you'll see him ignored in next year's national draft, or November's national draft this year. I think he'll be picked up. And Julian Burton just continues to be accurate.
Brown thumps it down. Morgan picks up the loose crumb. The kick was smothered, however. And Lennon applied a ferocious tackle on Obst. So the 34-year-old, Andrew Obst, and Tim, he is just remarkably consistent the way he presents himself for a game of football.
Evergreen, and one of those blokes that just never carries weight.
Morgan forward. Oh, McGuinness is having a purple patch. He's getting away from Weatherall just for the moment. And forces it into space. Here comes Filippo. He's got it. He got a bite at it. And what the umpire says, hasn't paid the mark.
No, well, obviously he didn't think he held it long enough. At first I thought he had a good clean grab on it, but she popped out. He didn't quite have it. So maybe a good decision in the end by the umpire. I think Sam Philippe would have liked it, though.
Adelaide Oval has great memories, I'm sure. Friday night against Norwood, he kicked 10 goals here and really cleaned up the contest. It's only 3 weeks ago. Damien Brown, the 23-year-old, 195 centimetres ruckman. Towards centre half forward. Out charges Filippo. Thread goal front position. Play on, said the umpires. Loose ball force McGuinness. Hurry. Oh, it's been taken. Binky's got it. Second chance. Snap around the corner. Oh, what an effort. What a solo effort. And Binky gets his fourth.
Well, David Mackay, you called it earlier about how the Sturt players have missed a few tackles, which is not like them. They've normally applied the tackles very well, but you just watch Binky get through traffic here. He should never have got through that tackle. And I think you'll find that Seamus Maloney will be very unhappy with himself as he just slipped off that tackle, didn't give Geddes a chance, and Binky got the chance to have a snap. So a vital goal to the Magpies.
Back to a 20-point margin. Coming up was Powell with the football onto his left leg. He goes up looking for White. Lee's just a little bit too quick. Read the ball a bit better and was there in the front position. Gets it on to Morgan. Morgan just waits, just looking for his teammates to get into position. This time he releases it. It's the long ball. The back there, flying high, was Robinson. Couldn't take it. It's come to ground. And both sides. Number 27 there, Stuart Graham, a new player to the Double Blues this year. Only playing his 5th game. Comes down, Obbs, quick snap. It's a chance here for the Magpies again. This is Fraser. Takes it and should receive 25 metres. He does that. Maloney just a little bit too much aggression after the mark was taken. Just pushed him over. And Fraser, point blank range, will not miss this.
Perhaps we were talking earlier about Seamus Maloney missing the tackle. Perhaps he wasn't that happy with himself.
So a chance here to go back, put it on its way. He does that, Fraser. Brings up his first major. The Magpies now go to a 26-point margin.
Yeah, we saw that Seamus Maloney earlier in the day there. He missed a tackle. He might have been upset with himself, so it's probably just a little bit aggressive on Fraser here. And these late goals from the Magpies is not what Phil Carman would have liked. He would have liked to been within 2 or 3 goals at quarter time with this breeze, and now it's blown it out. 26-point margin. He won't be happy with that.
At the bounce, it's 7-2 to 3 straight goals. The Double Blues need to get one just before quarter time. Squire around the corner. Twitt was clean bowled. Play on, said the umpire. Polton just upended, but still dispatched the kick. Wait to almost claim the mark. And now it's Powell who streams away. Long bomb, short bomb in the finish. Lees was up to the contest, over the top to Northeast, and a clever measured kick. Oh, he was pushing it forward, but continuing, read it beautifully. Jumped into the space and marked about 50 metres out, almost directly in front of goal.
Come off the inside of Northeast boot there. He's just trying to find Pedler. Allowed Catineri in.
So Muffy Catineri goes towards goal. Woosnam was up early, couldn't complete the grab. Burton goes after it, but it ricochets across and the point conceded.
28.5 minutes into this first quarter. It's been a long one. And I don't think Sturt are out of it by any means. That breeze is fairly strong, and if you can run it quickly and straight down the centre of the ground here at Adelaide Oval and not get caught too wide, you can get the results.
Kicks back in. Obbs ends up with it. Sees the running to Dragenza. Gives him that direction. Dragenza goes further afield, trying to find David Brown. David Brown's ridden into the ground. The umpires paid play on. And the Magpies will bring up their 8th major in the first quarter. What a great opening here by the boys in the black and white jumpers.
Well, Weatherall does some great work to catch up to Brown. He knew he was getting the ball, but he just jumped on his back and then drove him into the ground, which is definitely a free kick. You've just got to try and take him to one side and roll with him. So, vital goal to the Magpies.
Well, I think that might just be one that gives the Double Blues some stress. Stingline, I think it was, who picked up the loose ball and popped it through for Port Adelaide. Waite, who's having a field day on his wing today, goes to the back door, and it's Carr who swings around, forces it wide. Fraser underneath the contest. Geddes has been just rock solid this time, just held him in the contest and forced a throw in.
Both good players, aren't they? I do like Sturt's defence, but at the moment they're under the pump from the midfield. It's just coming in way too quickly.
I think the biggest thing that Phil Carman will need to address is that the tackling of Sturt has allowed Port Adelaide just to run and run and run. They've not hit a body or stopped a body. They've almost been non-physical, which is a surprise. Ashley forward, and Threadgold on the line just touches it before it goes over.
Well, it's good work by Matthew Ashley in the contest there. He bashed his way forward and got what is known as a quick kick out of the pack and almost paid off for a goal. So Sturt just got to hang on here in this first quarter. Making mistakes like that won't help though.
Yes, number 14, Scotty Robinson. Should have done better with that football. Lucky for him. Ball's out of bounds over the line. It'll be thrown in. A chance again for the Magpies just to finish this quarter off. Waltham gets the ball down. Double Blues player taking a little bit higher. Good kick. Going up forward. White comes across, gets one hand to it. Kennett comes across and takes it. Squire's in there as well. Morgan takes it. Quite happy to hold the ball to his chest to be tackled.
Morgan does so much of that work at ground level. He just gets in there. You know, the ball's loose. It could have spilled out to a Sturt player and be run away, but he just always gets in there first. That's his bread and butter, that sort of work.
At the bounce. Brown. Oh, McGuinness. Very slick. Fraser. Long bomb. They've been very direct today, Port Adelaide. They've reaped the rewards, and it's going to bounce through for a point.
Oh, David, you're clever.
Look, I thought it was going through for a goal, truthfully. You could just see the crowd lifting behind.
Good evasive work there, though, DB.
Sold the dummy. So Threadgold brings it back into play. Geddes couldn't quite get there. McGuinness handballs it forward in space, but the siren has sounded. Oh, I think Sturt needed the siren to go too, didn't they? They're just resetting. Port Adelaide were quite magnificent in that first quarter. And Tim, to be fair, they have just swept all before them. And I think they've put the job in front of Sturt in the final three quarters.
Well, that breeze may be a bit stronger than what we think. 8 goals 4 to 3 goals 1 Sturt. And that's a good lead for the Magpies. A 5-goal lead at quarter time. They'll be happy with that. I think the breeze is probably worth that, just the way if you play quickly down the middle of the ground, which the Magpies did in that quarter. It put what is a very good defence unit, the Blues, under a lot of pressure because they were getting it down quickly, spalling away, and the front and centre work of the Magpies players like Ashley, Brown, you've got McGuinness up the front there, all doing the good roving work and picking up the crumbs. You had Fraser and Morgan in there as well, so they really were doing some disciplined work at the front there.
Well, quarter time scores here sees the Magpies. They're going to 8 goals 4 52. The Double Blues, they're 3 goals 1 19. And you're sitting at home watching it on the Holiday Monday, live and exclusive to ABC Sport. Centre of the ground here. We've got Morgan sitting over the top of the football. Umpire Ron Bettrich to put the ball down again. Bit of strength used by both ruckmans. Waltham couldn't quite get his hand on the ball, neither could Brown. And again we'll see the man in white racing in. He'll put the ball down. Again, Brown trying to take front position. Coming over the top like Bruce Lennon. First there will be Dragenza. He needs support. He goes over the top, trying to find Waite. Twitch should take this. He has the pace. He just needs to be able to pick the football up. He couldn't do that. Urban's there as well. He's taken out over the line with the football. It'll be thrown in half-forward flank. I think Irvin might have injured himself as well in that contest.
It's a very fierce start to the game today, and both Carr and Polton made sure that Irvin was going to go over the line with that ball.
Back to Lennon. Oh, some speed and aggression there, also shown by Morgan.
Well, they are really hitting in hard, the Magpies, at the moment. They are crashing into every contest, and they're going to make sure that whoever gets that football is going to earn it.
So the crowd just going quiet, just waiting for either side to get control of this football. Brown's taken by Squire. The ball goes out of bounds on the full. So the double blues by Squire will bring the ball back in.
There was a suggestion, Mark, from one of our cameramen on the roof here at Adelaide Oval that breeze is perhaps closer to a 7 or 8 goal breeze than a 2 goal breeze, which is interesting because the flags are flying solidly.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 7 or 8 goal breeze. It's not that strong, but
I was going to say the game's not played on top of the roof either.
No, he needs some more Wheaties, I reckon. Damien Brown with the ball at centre-half back. Well, he kicks pretty well for a ruckman, doesn't he? Carr lurking across half-back, spears it into Leach, missed the target comprehensively in the finish. Coutura goes over the top, but the handball was smothered. That's the sort of thing that Port Adelaide have just been able to do today, get the important touches to slow down Sturt as Woosden gives it out to Lennon, who goes towards goal. It's through. That's the one Tim Genevis spoke about. Lennon gets his second, and the double blues get the first after quarter time.
But that's what they would have wanted. They want to get the first 2, get themselves back into the contest. But you just watch Tommy Carr, although they won't show the replay, but Tommy Carr tried to chip the ball into the corridor from a defensive action. Ball was turned over, and Sturt did exactly the right thing. Got it out to Lennon, who's a great kick for goal. He's a very smooth mover. And he just finishes it off from 50 metres out. But you cannot afford to turn the ball over in the corridor when you're still in your back half.
8-4 plays 4-1. Double Blues get the first goal after quarter time. It goes up towards the half-forward line for the Magpies. Back there is Geddes. Couldn't control it. This time he goes over the top. Brings it underneath. And just bottles that up on the half-forward flank for the Magpies.
Good work by Geddes there. Him and Obst having a good battle one-on-one. And he did some good work to hold that in.
At the bounce, Stenglein for Port Adelaide. Takes it out of the ruck. The kick was smothered. Well done, McGuinness. He lines up, straightens up, and goes bang. Puts it through, and that's his first. Second
For McGuinness, and great work once again. We did speak about how quick Phil McGuinness's hands and footwork is. And once again, he just didn't take any time to grab that ball, balance up, and slot it through. He's a very good player, Phil McGuinness. Got great skill level. And he just proved it again. And when he's around the goals, he normally kicks them. He's got 2 straight today. And him and Brown doing some damage on the ball.
Ball's about to be put down. The umpire just comes around onto the side, realising where Brown is coming in from. Brown this time takes front position, is taken high. The umpire's missed that one. Should have been a free kick there to Brown. Kennett comes in, also Bruce Lennon. At the bottom of the pack there is Morgan. So both sides still going at it hard. You see there, Tim, well over the top was Walton. Grabbed him in the headlock as he started coming down. Weatherall's in there. Taken there by number 22, Darren Fraser.
Yeah, Mark, I'm not sure about that tactic just yet. I'm not sure whether it's good or bad. Maybe I'll take the whole game to make my mind up, but I'm just not sure at this stage.
Gets his hand to the ball this time, does Brown. Thumps the ball forward. Chance here, needs support. Brown comes back and takes the handball. The kick is off to the side. First will be Powell. McGuinness reads it better. The bad bounce there allowed McGuinness in. Comes back to Ashley. He goes towards the front and centre of the goal square. Good mark taken and will be cleared out to Bruce Lennon.
Tommy Waltham showed some courage here to get in between a couple of Port players and take a good mark and clear it to Lennon.
Woosden was up before acceptance. Continuing was away, but the umpires found a free kick and it's going to Paul Northeast. Woosden was up and down before the ball got there. The umpire had no choice, and Northeast flicks it out to Morgan, who's wide. Now he bombs it long towards half forward. Big fly off time. It's a great grab.
Isn't he just a gazelle? Beautiful hands and gets that ball moving quickly.
Tregenza to Carter was good play. Around the corner, it's Binky. One bite, couldn't complete it. Well, he's missed a couple today that he could have taken. He really could have hammered this game. Powell into space. Obst misses it. Geddes crashed through, got the handball away. Well done, Weatherall. He got through as well. Now it's starting to happen for the Double Blues. They're getting through. Morgan. White just missed it. Now coming through further afield, doing it pretty well. The Sturt defence just force it forward. Robinson. Twitt. Inside 50. Spears it forward to Burton. Burton's on the lead. He's got it. Oh, that was beautiful, the Double Blues.
Well, some great work done by Weatherall about half-back flank there. You see Damien Brown come in, give him a bump, didn't actually try to tackle him. The ball was cleared into the centre where Twitt got hold of it, and Twitt's pass to Burton. Well, if you fall forward, you don't want him any better than that.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Yeah, the interchange we talked about, Soderstrom on, going to take the ruck, so I'll be interested to see what Damien Brown does after this goal.
Burton has two. You're sure it's a goal, Michael? You're very confident. And Burton doesn't let you down. He puts it through. He's got three straight, Julian Burton, the former Port Adelaide player, now starring for the Double Blues.
Just got to look at his percentages, David. It was always going to be a goal.
Walk us through the defensive work for Sturt, Michael. They were just terrifically strong and powerful, forcing it forward.
Trademark of their game that Phil Carman addressed at quarter time. Really felt that they had to be first into the ball in numbers. But let's have a look at this bounce down, fellas. Damien Brown has been running around to get onto the check side. And then the thing that's been a little bit disappointing from Sturt's point of view, both ruckmen hitting it the same way. There's been no blue jumpers on the ground on that side of the pack. So we'll see what happens on this occasion.
Soderstrom's gone into the ruck, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, we just see Soderstrom then. We're just trying to make sure that he does go front on. Wasn't allowing Brown any movement at all. Double Blues go forward again. 14 is Robinson. Trying to find Kennett. He's up against Carter.
So obviously with Soderstrom in the ruck and Brown going front on, obviously he was concerned with Tom Waltham's leap and his extra height, so that's the way he was going to combat it.
Brown tries to thump the ball back over the line. Squire comes in, cleverly gets around two or three players and gives the ball across to Kennett, who's taken by Tregenza. Morgan over the top of Kennett once again. The ball be thrown up.
Excuse me, Mark. Player dives on top of the ball, pulls it back in. Somebody grabs him. What's the rule?
Well, holding the ball when they want it to be. So, you know, they bring these things in, they trial them for about 4 weeks and then they forget about them.
That's a classic there. That ball should have been got out and the game should have gone on. As Carr drops back underneath it, Katinri couldn't get there. Carr's been very solid. He's combined beautifully with Northeast and Lees. In fact, I think the Port Adelaide halfback line have had complete dominance in this match as Pedler comes down from full-back. It's a high bomb. Waite over the top of Irvin. Irvin tries to recover. Waite was slick enough to get it out to Lees, who grabbed it into the space for Tregenza, but it was across the line.
Yeah, Julian Waite would have been disappointed with himself. He had the sit. He did everything right. Just didn't quite hold it in the end and was right over the top of his own opponent, so he would have been happy with that.
White now takes the ruck, gets it down. 27 was Graham. Lees came through hard. Twitt ends up with it. He'll go around or try to. Should have been pinned for holding the ball. The umpire blows his whistle. Now plays the advantage. Tommy Carr comes out with it, gives it across to Clayton, onto Obbs. Obbs has time. He has support in front as well through David Brown. Goes up towards his full forward and Philippo. Reading it better was Mark Soderstrom.
Switch of play to Robinson. Well, perhaps Soderstrom's just having a little rest on the bench, has fired him right up. He's normally a regular starter. Lennon in front of Morgan was good play. Now it's Squire on the left boot, using the ball intelligently. Twitt comes down the corridor. He plays that possession beautifully. Woosnan had the ball tucked away. Loose ball goes to Carr. He picks it up, streaks it out in the direction of Brown, who's underneath it. But Powell is just a powerful player. Thumps it across the line.
That was good football, wasn't it? Everybody's involved and everybody's very competitive, and Powell right on Brown's hammer there and punched it to the line.
White and David Brown. Graham's in there as well. Ashley's also trying to get his hands on the football.
I think we saw Michael Parsons jump out of his seat and try and take possession then, Mark, didn't we?
Disappointing those stats aren't working, fellas. Mark one down for me.
Did you get your boot to the ball, Michael?
Yes, kicked it as well as I did a couple of years ago too.
Comes down Irvin. Well read there by Obbs. pulls it in, then gets the kick away. Player was held on. The advantage is played against Geddes, who should have taken the free kick. Comes back down to Lees. He should have taken that ball as well. Taken high was Kennett. Good work by Carr. The umpire hasn't paid the free kick against him.
Tell you what, Tim, you'll see something you won't see too often. 2 clangers in 2 minutes to Brian Lees. Very rare.
Well, he's actually called Carter out. He did the right thing there, and then he put out his chest like a backboard.
Weatherall, wide as well, has had no influence on this game so far, but just be prepared because he's an exciting young player. Weatherall tries to get possession as Burton will come through, head down for the football. Pedlar's behind him. He takes the football now, goes down the members' wing. Chance for Brown to have a fly. Couldn't quite get himself up off the ground. And both teams just getting a little bit of a round of applause from their supporters here at Adelaide Oval.
No, Brown's days of flying are well and truly over, Mark. There's no fear of him getting both feet off the ground at once.
You'll have to deal with that one later, Tim, I guess. McGuinness missed it. Twitt gathers it in, tries to crash his way through and can't. So there'll be a bounce. I think those Port Adelaide skippers have a long memory, Tim.
Thoughts of Grand Delusion if he thought he was going to leap up that bloke's back, I'll tell you.
Comments Tim Geneva. 7-time Port Adelaide Premiership player and 3-time Port Adelaide Premiership captain. I guess you've got to have that sort of record, Tim, if you're going to criticise David Brown.
Oh, look, Brownie would know that. I think he'd be telling me afterwards that I was right.
Found front position. White from behind thumped it down. Weatherall got the kick away. Coutinho is an excitement machine. Well done, Squire. He got through. He was tripped. He went down in the tackle at least. And White is claimed by Coutinho. Now Twitt comes in. Carr over the top and Lees just splits the pack.
Port Adelaide's defence is just doing enough. See, that's not tripped, David.
No, you're right. Yeah, he lost his footing in the tackle.
Just lost his footing in the tackle.
Yep.
And they're just doing enough to stop these Sturt runners running through, where Sturt perhaps in the first quarter are a bit guilty of letting them go.
17-point margin. Coutinho just flicks it out. A little toe poke. Twitt's getting caught this afternoon. Polton takes him. Just can't find some space this afternoon as Jared Twitt.
People underestimate Jared Polton's pace. He is very quick and he's very strong. So if he gets a chance to get to you, he puts you down.
Umpire just bringing it back.
There's a blood rule. Might be Danny Morgan having to come off, I think.
Yep.
We get a chance to have a look at Trent Orman-Allen, who comes on. Michael Parsons might just confirm the blood rule for us.
Yes, mate, just a blood nose, but doesn't look like anything too serious. Just a bit of cotton wool up the left nostril. Stop it, and he'll be back on.
Trent Orman-Allen, Tim, here last year took an absolute blinding mark.
I was going to say, if you want to talk about getting off the ground, now we're talking about a bloke that can get off the ground. It's Trent Orman-Allen.
They were calling him Air Jordan last year. He really just took off and got one absolute cracker. In a match against Sturt, a night game here. McGuinness. Oh, there he goes. Orman-Allen high over the pack. Just took off. Spring Hill Jack. Ashley kicking in danger, said the umpire. Yep, that's a Sturt free kick.
Well, you can't do that. You can't kick in danger. So, yes, definitely had his head over the football, and that's courage. He deserves his free kick there.
Robinson from left half back. Recruited from Norwood. He's been a fine defender for the Double Blues. They've done well with their Foreign Legion. And Polton, he is an exciting prospect. Had a great final series last year. Trained hard with Port Power over the summer and was picked up. A great reward for perseverance. Now it's Squire. He's got the run in front of Fraser. Forced onto the right boot, the non-preferred leg. He goes towards goal, and it's come around, but it's a point.
Yeah, Wisdom was dancing around a little bit too early. It didn't have time to complete, and it ended up just floating across the front of goal just at the last minute. It was a great snap by Squire. But Port Adelaide, 2 mistakes, chipping into the corridor, not hitting their targets, and the ball getting turned over nearly for 2 goals for Sturt, so you've got to be careful.
Obbs takes the mark, uncontested. Got the ruckman in Brown or Carter. Carter takes it in front position, just chips the ball up towards half forward. Clayton again's in there, Binky as well. At the back we got Patura. Patura slams it onto his left foot. It wasn't a good kick there by Patura. Ends up with Obbs.
Port just applying pressure to the kicker, turning the ball over.
Binky paddled it down the throat of Carter. It was intelligent play. Carter squares it up. Ashley underneath it, one-handed attempt over the top of it. Gathers it in, handballs it out into space. Well done, McGuinness. One step, goes towards goal. Offline this time, it's a point. He's got 1-1, Phil McGuinness, but he's been dangerous. 2 goals, 1 McGuinness, but he's been dangerous.
He has, and again, the quick work, the way he gets the ball and just manoeuvres out and just can get it to hand or foot very quickly. He just keeps showing the example.
Have you look at the crowd, Mark. I think we might have a bit more than 15 right now.
It's a good turnout, and well done to both fans of both clubs. It's excellent.
Fraser puts it back in. Chance for Filippo to take it. Umpire again calls play on. He gives it over the top unselfishly to Tregenza. Tregenza won't miss that. He doesn't. That's his first for the afternoon to Simon Tregenza. And the Magpies get their 10th.
Well, as we see Catenary coming off and Ferguson going on for Sturt, they have to do something. They have to create some goal-scoring options up forward other than Burton. They're just breaking down across that half-back line. I think David Mackay here picked it that the half-back line for Port Adelaide has just dominated their opponents so far, and Polton's taken Ferguson now. Lees has got White, who's been non-existent, and North East has just kept Wisdom down to virtually nothing. So they've got to look at that, Sturt, because that's where they're breaking down, and Port Adelaide have got a 5-goal lead at the moment. It's going to be very tough to wrestle that back.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary line.
Yes, mate, Morgan's controlled that blood nose. He's off, and he's back on, and Matthew Ashley will just step off for a bit of a rest. But I've been impressed with Jared Twitten this quarter. The way he's got in and under, pushed the ball forward, and the breeze is really howling now down towards that scoreboard end.
65 plays 32, and the breeze howling down. Thanks for that, Michael. As a double blues through Soderstrom go forward. Lees underneath this one, misses it. Burton came through, just applied the contest. Worsden missed it. Burton, second effort was very, very good. He's claimed by Carr. Carr goes back over the top, and Pedler comes crashing in as well. There'll be a bounce.
Well, great effort here by Tommy Carr. Just look at the body again. We spoke about how you should tackle, and in the end he probably got Burton for a throw, but it was a great, great tackle by Tommy Carr.
White will do the ruck work, thumps it down to Twitt. Twitt skirts around the back door. On the right boot, Nathan Irvin, a high bomb towards full forward. Oh, big fly was up. It was Kennett, and he collected it.
Well, it was anybody's ball. There was about 5 or 6 players underneath it. Have a look at that, standing on Brian Lees' shoulder. Well, Leesy, you're in the mark of the year, mate, but you're in the wrong spot. Great grab by Kennett. Is it Kennett?
Yep, Toby Kennett.
Well done.
Former Crow draftee, delisted, now playing some of the best footy of his career. That's his first, an important one for the Double Blues as the scarves go waving, a bit premature.
Well, they needed that goal, they really did. They're kicking with the breeze this quarter. We're nearly 20 minutes in, and they've got to be within 2 goals at half-time at least, or they would probably hope to be level. As another interchange for the Magpies. We'll check that with Michael Parsons down there.
Yeah, Paul Vine's coming on for his first run. Just a few extra legs is the call from the runner as Julian Waite takes a seat.
65 plays 38. Good bounce by the umpire. Ball nearly taken out. Powell comes through hard, gets through 3 or 4 tackles. He'll thump the ball up towards the goal square. Going back is Burton. He takes a good mark.
Well, that's the way to play with the breeze, isn't it? Get the ball out of the middle and thump it to the square, and one-on-one. Julian Burton is becoming a very, very strong player. He's very hard to beat one-on-one. He's already kicked 3. He's going to line up for his 4th. And, well, we're saying that the Magpies were laying their tackles. Well, on that occasion, 2. Powell just brushed through 2. He's a very strong player, very nuggety. Thumped it to the square. And great work by Julian Burton.
Could be a team lifter. That sort of work through the midfield by Matthew Powell. Mike with his double blue side moving as Burton brings up his 4th.
Well, we were in a bit of a lull there for a minute. The game wasn't really doing much either end, and Sturt have just exploded with 2 goals thanks to a Toby Kennett screamer, and then Matthew Powell thumping it into the full forward where Julian Burton takes a great one-on-one mark. Port Adelaide have made a change. They've taken Damien Brown off and brought Mick Spanigal into the ruck. And big Mick Spanigal, you can see him on the West End signs. He's the long neck. He's going to be rucking against Soderstrom.
And he wins the tap too. Straight down to Brown, caught on the right boot, goes towards half forward. Binky up front position, Ormond Allen crashes through. Geddes was good in the contest, wasn't he?
Has been all day too, Geddes. He's been very tough and just holding the ball in the area, giving Sturt a chance to reset.
One thing, Tim, you might have a look at is the Sturt half-forward line. They're giving White no space at all. Woosden is crowding him. So too is Graham. I think there's just a bit of inexperience in the way they structured around White. They need to give him some space to run into, mark and be there at the fall of the ball. They seem to be right on top of him and not letting the big bloke have a run at the ball.
I think you're right there, David, and also the fact that the midfield pressure from the Magpies and forward line pressure has been good, not allowing Sturt an easy run through, other than the Powell incident, of course.
He always seems to do better for mine when he's got space. Tregenza got it from the Soderstrom tap. Now clever work, Weatherall taken and free kick. It'll come back.
Yeah, Brian Binky will be disappointed in that. He just trying to make his way to the contest, and he definitely interfered with Weatherall.
Now Powell, possession football, over the top it goes. 2 targets, Geddes was there, so to Irvin. Irvin can bounce and run and deliver it long, which he does. Here comes Burton, charging out, but he couldn't quite get to the contest. Spanigal was quite terrific to get back quickly. Feeds it out the back, and the runner was Polton. It releases Morgan to the far side, and Kennett had to try and run him down. Couldn't do that successfully, and the chip is short to North East, who marks at left half back.
North East comes across the face of goals again, looks for Carter. Carter's got the running Lees out wide. Hits Lees with the handball. Lees further afield, trying to find Vines. Vine taps it over his head. Hugh McGuinness was there. Unfortunately, they've run out of space, and the boundary line beats both players and the football.
Good work by North East to switch play then. Just breaks it up and gets it down the far side.
Kick forward there by Powell to Morgan. Morgan's tackled. Couldn't find his target with the handball. Geddes is in there as well. Squire. Ops comes in and applies the tackle. And a chance again for the players and also the umpires just to catch their breath as the game resets. 65 plays 44. 23.5-minute mark of this second quarter. That's coach Phil Carman just waving his arms, trying to instruct his players where he wants them to be. Weatherall takes it, takes the bump, keeps his feet, did well there. The young Weatherall puts it up high now. Chance at the back there for Ferguson. Well read there by North East. Polton should take it. He'll get pushed over the line. He's tackled. Wasn't tackled there by Ferguson. Allowed him to get the ball off to Carr. Carr over the top to McGuinness. McGuinness fakes the handball, comes around, blind turns. Was taken high in that contest and receives the free kick. Chance again for Brown. Puts it up. Beaky in front. Got his hands to the ball. Then applies the tackle. Player without the football will receive the free kick.
He might have been a bit high. Sturt have made a change too. They've brought Julian Burton out, put White down to full forward.
Oh, Lees, maybe a little bit late. The umpire's going to his back pocket as well, I believe. And has taken his number. So Brian Lees has been reported. I didn't see much in that. It was a little bit late. Maybe a 25 was warranted. But the umpire has indicated it's a booking. So 50-metre penalty will favour the double blues, and Seamus Maloney should line up for goals.
Well, the umpire would have said is he either collected him with the left elbow or a charging penalty. Interesting, that one. He was certainly late, no question about that.
Well, he's got up, David. He's just got up and taken the footy under his arm and it's walked on. What's happening here now?
I think they're just straightening him up in front of goal. So Seamus Maloney, the vice-captain for the Double Blues, who's kicked a remarkable 7 goals in 61 games. But he is a defender. I don't think they let him down there too often, Tim, do they? But this is a very important kick for the Sturt Football Club, and you can see why he's a defender.
Well, actually, he's a better kick than that normally, and Seamus Maloney won't be happy with that one. 10 goals, 5, Port Adelaide 65, leads Sturt by 20 points, 7 goals, 3, 45. So he wouldn't be happy with that at all, I don't think, Seamus, because he is a good kick, and he often comes down through the middle of the ground with plenty of run, and normally finishes his work off.
Carr brings the football back in. He goes down the middle of the ground, over the back there. Looked like Burton trying to thump it back. No one really getting their hands on top of the football here. Comes out to Squire. Squire needs support through Powell. Powell will take it, but he'll be pursued there by Vines. McGuinness was in there. Now with 30 seconds, finally a player takes the football and gets it to his boot. It goes up forward. Getting back there first will be Patura. Gives the handball back. In there was Threadgold. Comes over the top to Weatherall. Weatherall couldn't take it. Vines tries to soccer off the ground. Maybe he should have picked it up. Then decided to kick the ball up forward. So a bit messy.
Well, I think the big thing there, Mark and Tim, was the pressure of the Port Adelaide forwards.
Which is good. I mean, you've got to put forward line pressure on. It just allows the whole game to be competitive and gives your defence a chance. And I think it's developing into one of those tight contests again. I don't think there's going to be much in it.
Sort of Vines had the handball smothered. It went straight across the line. I thought Soderstrom might have been up a little early.
Yeah, you've got to get your hand to it. He made it, just got a bit of a hand to it, so the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. But Soderstrom's done a reasonable job since he's come on into the ruck.
Weatherall dispatches it towards the boundary line. Twit was clean bowled. Carr couldn't quite get there. Clever work. Graham off it goes to Irvin. A long bomb through half forward. Spanigel's back there. Burton claimed him. Carr couldn't just quite get there. Northeast tried to paddle it forward, but the free kick was already given, and it's big Michael Spanigal, who is big, 205 centimetres. He's a towering man. Puts it onto the legs. Ormond Allen was up. No mark. Polton. Dogged defender, but the kick was astray, wasn't it? And Threadgold drifting down from centre half back. Marks and switches the direction of play. Touched off hands, play on, said the umpire. It's opened it right up for Port Adelaide. The kick needed to be perfect. It wasn't. Brown on the fly, the skipper. One bounce, gets a Shepherd. Free kick, no, said the umpire. Play on the advantage. As the sirens sound, it's half-time here at Adelaide Oval, and it shows Port Adelaide leading by 20 points.
Well, David, that last piece of play there, we spoke about chipping the ball into the corridor in your back half is always dangerous, and it nearly paid Sturt the heaviest price, and only for the siren, Port Adelaide were well on the way to getting another goal. So at half-time, I think it's really developed into a good contest. It's still anybody's game, and it's starting to fire up a bit.
The question is, do you think that Sturt can find something in the midfield that can give their forwards a chance of kicking a winning score?
Well, their midfield is working hard. They haven't had it, certainly haven't had their own way, but they are still working hard. Twit and Weatherall are still trying to get the ball moving. They had a lot of pressure on them from Port's midfield, who's been very good. But it's probably the half-forward line where Sturt have really broken down, and I noticed they moved Burton up in that last 5 minutes just to try and give him a bit of spark and get something going there.
So half-time scores here at Adelaide Oval. Anzac Day, Monday holiday. See Port Adelaide. They're 10 goals, 5, 65. The Double Blues are 7 goals, 3, 45. And you're watching at home, live and exclusive to ABC Sport. Games recommenced in the start of the third quarter. Adelaide Oval, Anzac Monday. Tremendous crowd witnessing this contest between a couple of traditional clubs in the SANFL competition. Ball be put down. Just a Double Blues side off the centre square. Squire comes out with it, left legs it up forward. Brian Lees is by himself. Should take this. Coming across was Kennett trying to cut it off. Ball's beaten Carter out over the line. The ball will be thrown in. Just in front of the member stand here at Adelaide Oval. Number 55 there, you can see in screen, was Bruce Lennon in jumper number 17 in the first half. Has now moved to jumper number 55. Comes down to Morgan. Morgan couldn't take it. Carter does. He goes for the safety of the boundary line. We'll see it over by Trent Ormond Allen. He keeps it in. He has, and the umpire's blown his whistle. So another chance here. The players just to set themselves up in their boundary throw-in positions. Ball's thrown. Comes down to Carter again. Looks for the handball across of Tregenza. Tregenza quickly onto his right boot. Goes up, and Powell's read the ball a bit better and takes a mark overhead. Powell's got players out wide if he wants to use him. He doesn't. He goes down the line. Powerful kick again. Wide, who hasn't taken a mark all afternoon. Hasn't taken this one either. Good work there by Damien Brown. Carr kicks it across, looking for Binky. Binky just stays on the ground. He's opposing number 14. And Robinson decides to jump. Lucky for Robinson, the ball went out of bounds. Coach Carman just having a can of Coke there after his half-time address. He's trying to inspire his players. They need a big half, or second half at least, don't they, Tim?
Well, they're still in it. 20 points is not a lot, as we said, and if they can have a good quarter into the breeze now, that'll set them up for a good last quarter to try and run over the top of the Magpies. But the Magpies obviously will have other ideas and try and kick this lead so that is pretty untouchable.
Damien Brown marks across half-back for Port Adelaide. Sturt are manning up pretty well, very few options, but he finally finds Polton, who leads into space and just provides an option. Polton in turn goes short over the top. Now they can start to run. Fraser can take off, but instead he went back. Well, looks to me like Port Adelaide just going to consolidate in the opening few minutes. Play possession football. Polton, a bounce and a bomb, a high one. Stingline's underneath it. Binky's there, push and a mark. What's the umpire say? He's paid it.
Well, I'm going to have a look at this one, David, because for mine, I think he gave the little shove in the back. Let's just have a look at it.
The old heave-ho.
Gets alongside Soderstrom here. One hand on it, just a gentle push, maybe a little clever one. He had a quick look at the umpire, so perhaps Brian Binky's got away with that.
Well, unfortunate. Just depends where the umpire is, but Binky's kick 4 goes for 5, and perhaps justice has been served.
For the Sturt fans, a bit of poetic justice there. I think they'll be happy with that being a point.
You don't mind when they get a point out of that situation, do you, as an opposition player or supporter? But if they get a goal, you just...
Oh, it hurts. There's no doubt about that. And then you go up the umpire and just really tell him about the error.
Threadgold brings the ball back in. Members side. Over the back will be Carter. He thumps the ball back. Brown will take it. He needs to get to his feet. He won't have a chance to, as Getty just makes sure he stays down.
Just a little crowded around the football at the moment in Port's 50-metre arc. There's a good 15 or 16 players around the footy.
Chance again. Neither side giving an inch. 39's Maloney. He's up against Stingline. Ball's down again. Good knock forward. Chance of Powell. He won't deviate from his line. Kicks it out wide. Chance again for Binky. First there will be Wade. He'll take it. He has time just to be able to settle. Can spot a player if he needs to. The kick wasn't good. It was well read there by Maloney. Pushed himself across and took the chest mark.
Yeah, Seamus Maloney, good defender as we were speaking earlier. And he read that one to perfection. He saw the little chip coming and he just outdid his opponent in Fraser to get there first.
Maloney puts a long one out to Soderstrom, who didn't let him down. There was 2-on-1 in the contest. Ormond Allen was there, who was a big flyer. And Tregenza mopping up. Patura misses it. Oh, Fraser off to Tregenza, a little short one. What good vision. Clever to McGuinness. 40 out directly in front. Oh, it finishes beautifully. Well, the Double Blues have been made to pay for that error and pay dearly.
David, we spoke about it in the first half, about turning the ball over in your back half. And that was some simple work done there, and Patura left the ball behind. Tregenza allowed in, kicked it on the outside of his foot to get it to McGuinness. Good peripheral vision. And McGuinness, as we said, give him half a chance. He's a great kick for goal, and he's done it again. I think that would be his third goal. Yes, it is his third goal. And Phil McGuinness just put the nail into what really would have hurt of Soderstrom after he did some great work to take that mark.
Back out to a 27-point margin. Ball gets put down. Soderstrom up against Brown. Over the top is Ormond Allen. He has got a standing leap on him. Brian Binky comes out.
Did you like the way Binky met that ball then? I just reckon he won what's called a 50-50 there for mine.
I think that's what Port Adelaide pride themselves on it. Tim, is that 50-50 ball. As Graham thrown away by Ormond Allen. Fraser just wraps up Weatherald. Now Graham looks to be hurt. So young Stewie Graham in his 5th game finds out about how tough it can be. But, oh, bang.
He had his arms pinned. That's one of those most dangerous things in footy. Happened to Ralph Sewell when he was playing in the country, where his arms were pinned and he got some serious injuries out of it. And he's I reckon he might have been a little bit concussed out of that one.
Oh, great courage, Stewie Graham. Orman Allen just slings him away, arms pinned, he's got no control, and his head is poleaxed into the ground.
Yeah, he's not really sure where the interchange is, so best he comes off and regathers his thoughts. Johnny Richter certainly would be a good replacement.
The bounce is on in the middle of the ground. Threadgold missed it. Brown gathers it in one step. Oh, dear me. Well, the signs are dangerous for Sturt, aren't they? Port Adelaide charging forward, doing it at will almost, and Brown pops it through for his second. Now, the Double Blues are going to have to get perhaps 8 goals more than Port in the next quarter and a half.
Well, it's only early in this quarter, David. Let's see if they can fight back here. But you just missed the piece of work. North East has gone up and congratulated Orman Allen. He's come over the back in 2 or 3 ruck contests, brought the ball forward into the open space where Brown ran onto it. Very clever work, and he uses that leaping ability to be able to do that. So, very pleased with Trent Orman Allen's work there.
12-6 play, 7-3. A great start by the Magpies. They're currently sitting on the top of the premiership table. Double Blues in second. So a chance here this afternoon for the Magpies just to get that 1 game break on the other sides below them. Carter backs himself to get through. Couldn't quite make it. Johnny Richter's come on.
Yeah, it's better tackling by Sturt too.
Down again. Brown and Soderstrom just hang on to each other, trying to work through with Squire. He's had a good afternoon, young Damien Squire. Weatherall throws the ball out. Good vision there by Patura. Back to Kennett. Kennett onto his left leg, comes up high towards White, yet to take a mark again. Continuary's there, also Bruce Lennon wearing jumper number 55. Tips it out looking up for Burton. Woosnam's there as well. Woosnam needs to react and get across to where the football is. Number 19 there is Tregenza. He takes it, chips the ball across. A chance here for the Magpies to build on something here. Pedler goes wide. It's a great kick there by Pedler, finds White. White quickly comes inside. The lead forward by McGuinness. They're streaming down in numbers. Port Adelaide. He turns brilliantly. Great kick there by McGuinness. Gives a chance there for his forward line players and Binky to take it. Couldn't. The Double Blues will defend.
Maloney to Irvin, who's had his colours lowered so far in this match. And he's important to them, the Double Blues. When he's firing, they look a little better, more potent, that's for sure. So half forward goes the kick. It's 4-on-1. White was the target, but there were 4 Magpie players surrounding him. And the kick is good from Tregenza to Morgan. Look at the switch in play, Tim. Port Adelaide have used that side of the ground pretty well.
Oh, look, they are creating the switching players and the options very well today. In this quarter, they've started off again in that same fashion.
Fraser, a long bomb. Orman Allen, high above the pack, brings it to ground. Stengline. Kick was smothered, and across the line it goes. We've played just over 10 minutes into the 3rd quarter of this Anzac Day commemorative match between Port Adelaide and Sturt.
Well, their gun centre-half forward, Stephen White, what would you do with him, Tim? I mean, at the moment, he's just not touching the football. Hasn't had his hands on it all afternoon. Maybe throw him into ruck.
I was just about to say, I'd be half tempted to put him into the ruck and make him work for his kicks and make him take a few marks in the back play, get his confidence up, and then maybe switch him back.
Morgan takes it. Chance here now to set it up. Looking for Filippo. Comes in a bit shorter. He does that very, very well. 38 there is Stingling. He'll go back, kick from around about 55 metres out, directly in front.
Well, he hasn't had a great day. He's playing centre-half forward, which is a big responsibility for such a young fella. I like the look of him, though. What I have seen of him so far this year, I think the Crows have done well again, and some of the kids that they've picked up just keep producing, just very special, and I think this lad's going to be no exception.
Stengling, 55, puts it high on its way. He's got the breeze to take it with it. It's a great kick there by the young fella. The young 18-year-old, Tyson Stengling, remember his name. Very, very good young prospect for the Magpies.
You will see him in an AFL jumper before too long, Tim, won't you?
I believe so. I think it's one of those things that Malcolm Blight likes to have a look at them all at some stage, and if the Crows keep on their winning way as they did yesterday, I think we'll find that they'll have an opportunity to play him and give him a chance at that level. But the Magpies here have got a chance to blow this lead out by three-quarter time to 10 goals. If they do that, it'll be too hard for the Double Blues. The Double Blues have got to be within 3 or 4 at three-quarter time.
Soderstrom still in ruck for the Double Blues. Carter out to Orman Allen, forced onto the left boot, around he goes. Geddes thumps it to ground, and that's a good recovery from Geddes. As that ball was trapped underneath him, he just made sure that there were no options, so he just held it.
Well, he's done that a few times today, David. He's been one of the few defenders that's probably held his own. They have been under the pump, the Sturt defence, so there's got to be more pressure up from the forward line. It's coming out of that Sturt forward line all too easily. Port Adelaide's defenders switching play at will and running it down, just playing piggy in the middle.
They've got a ruckman and a centre-half back on White. I think they're really giving him great coverage, and it's hurting the Double Blues because they've just got no avenue to go through half forward. Oh, there's a holding the ball decision. Fair enough.
Well, if you watch that, Andrew Geddes this time just basically on hands and knees went around in 3 circles and didn't give it off to anybody, so
dragged it in.
There's no real attempt to get rid of that, so
I think the umpires did right there on that occasion. Sturt fans won't be happy to see that, but it was the act of dragging it back underneath him that I think the umpire was forced to ping him. Brown from 50. Distance will be a factor in this, but with the breeze, he just puts it up with the breeze and it drifts off to the left, just on the line. It's a mark. Who's taking that? Filippo.
Yeah. Geez, I didn't think Brownie would get that distance, so that breeze must be strong.
Well, I watched Carr kick out at that end midway through the second quarter, and he was kicking it into the 50-metre square, and I didn't think the breeze was at all that strong.
It certainly carried there, that kick, and great mark by Sam Filippo right on the line. He'd want to finish this off, I reckon. Sam?
Filippo, who has 16-3. Oh, that's a beauty, isn't it? That's just a great kick from a full forward. A man with some confidence kicking for goal. So we go down to Michael Parsons. We might just check the breeze with you, Michael, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, it's a bit hard from sitting underneath the grandstand here, just sort of in the shelter, but out in the field of play, obviously, fellas, that breeze is very strong. And Sturt trying to change their things up on their forward line. Julian Burton's come out and pushed around Brian Lees a little bit just to loosen things up. Brian Lees has replied to a pinch on the bum. But Brian Lee's doing a great job on Stephen White, and it is critical that they get him into the game.
90 now plays 45, so they doubled their scoreline, the Magpies, over the Double Blues. Comes back to Pachura. He goes wide, looking for the running Squire. Squire takes it, comes back. Now we'll set it up, looking up forward for White. White's got 3 plays. Impossible to take a mark in those sort of conditions. Comes down to Northeast. Northeast, with the awkward kicking action, finds his captain in David Brown. Brown over Dragenza, a bit of experience there, chips it up forward Stingley. So the Magpies are really doing it at ease in this third quarter. Chip up, couldn't find Binky. Weatherall takes it. The quick little legs get going. Oh, over the top. Weight on Irvine. Irvine receives the free kick, end-or mark. Squire, one of the better Double Blues players this afternoon on the outer wing, will kick it with his left leg. It's high again. White's got 3 players. Over the top is Damien Brown this time. Just goes for the safety of the boundary line.
Well, there it is. There's that brick wall at half-back flank. Sturt just can't get over the top of that. We see Simon Feast on our footage there.
Yeah.
He's obviously in town for a couple of days, come to see his old club play.
Played with Sydney, of course, against the Crows, and stayed on to watch this match. I guess he's got a lot of mates here. Brody Atkinson still in the crowd. Just in front of our commentary box, there's Sean Tasker and Mark Williams. So plenty of interest in this match at Adelaide Oval. And I think you're going to stay with us if you're a Port fan, because this is going to be one of their highlights for the year. They are demoralising the second place side in the competition, and they're doing it from the defensive zone in their middle. Northeast, forward into space. Binky, 2 hands, couldn't complete the grab. Squire got the kick away, but it just wasn't enough. And Obst and Binky Just solid in the attack and the tackle.
They're very fierce, Port Adelaide. They're fierce at the body. They're tackling well. They're keeping the ball in play. And when they get it, they move it on so quickly. One grab, one quick handball, long into the forward line. That's where the pressure is. And I just like the way they're doing it at the moment. Sturt just are not having any room to move whatsoever. Squire's moved into the middle, and he's trying to provide a bit. And looks like he's got himself a free kick. He has.
Johnny Richter, experienced campaigner, gives it up to Burton. Burton really takes the mark over the top. It was a good grab. Just a metre short was Julian Burton of getting to the football. He gives it back to the umpire and heads back towards full forward.
I think the umpires today, Tim, have done a pretty good job. Often they get sucked into blowing the whistle when it looks like an obvious mark, but the umpires haven't fallen for that today.
So far been an excellent display.
Woosden tracked down by Obst. Slick handball. Richter snap for goal. It's just made a point. So 46 plays 90. We're 17.5 minutes into the third quarter, and the Double Blues will come home with the breeze, but you just suspect that their best is not going to be good enough.
Like I said, if they're not within 3 or 4 at three-quarter time, then I can't see them winning the game. But just the way Port Adelaide's playing, if they keep it up, their disposal's been excellent. They move it so quickly. People running to space. They're doing it again.
Lees takes it over the top. Binky takes it and then gives the handball out. The umpire was going to put his whistle to his mouth, decided against it. Brown wants to play on quickly. Powell nearly gets hold of him. McGuinness has had a good afternoon. He's maybe his best game for the season. Tips it up forward. Out to Morgan. Now Morgan's got 2 or 3 players. Which one he wants? He goes up. Picks out one of them.
It's Fraser.
And Fraser takes it. Fraser's got a couple of players inboard. He chips it across. Ends up with Tregenza.
All too easy, isn't it, Mark Naley? All too easy. They're running to space. They're creating options. And when Sturt get the ball, they're under so much pressure. And it's just breaking down across that half-forward line where I think you're right. White's got to go into the ruck. They've got to get him working. They've got to get something out of him.
That's Tregenza's second. He kicked one in the second quarter. His second one in the third quarter. He's had a good afternoon as well.
I don't know if it's my imagination, gentlemen, but Simon Tregenza's kicking's been excellent today, and it might have improved, I reckon. Seriously.
Yes, I think that's a fair point, Tim. I know that's one aspect of his game he's been working on. He's always been a penetrating kick, but I think the real problem is his loop in the kick.
At times it didn't hold its line because it wasn't a real punch kick, but today I've seen every kick just hit its mark and go straight through the goals.
Well, when he's running, he looks like a thoroughbred racehorse. He just takes off, and very few people can go with him. When he's kicking like this, he's a very potent player. Katinri, gee, they need a spark, and maybe they might get it from him. Richter, who has spent most of the game on the interchange bench, floats a high one towards half forward. Kennett was up and down, couldn't complete it. Richter comes again. Carr crashes into him. And Obst over the top yet again. It's been 2-on-1 football this entire game.
Well, it's a perfect example just there, but both Richter and Danny Morgan here hit the ball very hard. I love seeing that. That's courageous stuff from both teams and both players.
Double Blues really haven't taken a hard body, Tim, today at all. I think that's been one of their big failings, is that when the Port Adelaide runners are coming downfield, they've not hit them and split them up the middle and stopped them from running at all.
We've seen that happen on the half-forward line for Sturt, where Port's half-back line's just been impenetrable. How's that for a word?
Not bad. I don't think I'll try. Jared Poulton gets through. Toby Kennett comes up. The ball's still in somehow. I don't know how, but it is. This time it's out over the line. So Spangle's waiting on the boundary line. Damien Brown to come off. As he contests that, White knocks it down. Socket forward there by Obst. Weatherall comes around. Not much of him, but he's plenty of courage in his body. Lee's just leading Burton to the football. Kicks it high. Goes back. Geddes nearly takes it. Again, cleverly done by Obst. Over the top by McGuinness. So they're just knocking the ball forward in their direction. Just keeping the ball alive. Double Blues this time have a chance to clear it. Comes out to Squire. He can't pick it up. In there again is Waite. Also Tregenza. Now he puts his body on the line, realising that there was danger coming, and receives the free kick. Great work there by Tregenza.
Go down to Michael Parsons for an interchange update.
Yes, fellas, just the changing of the big guys for Port Adelaide. Interesting stat coming through, David, is that 22 goals kicked today. Only 5 of those have been kicked into the breeze. So we keep talking about it, but the breeze is definitely a factor.
No question. Sam Philippou, the former Eagle, who had a stint with the Western Bulldogs in the AFL before coming back to the Eagles, and then a dispute with Eagles coach Mark Micken. Saw him at Port Adelaide, where he played 12 games last year for 14 goals, but he's mesmerised them from full forward this year. And I don't think you'll be happy with that. It's an absolute shocker, and touched out of bounds.
He got right underneath that. I think he didn't realise he ended up getting too close to the man on the mark, and he had to lift it up over the top of him, and consequently went off the side of his boot. But been a good player for Port Adelaide this year, enjoying a good season.
Over the back is Weatherall. Brings it out wide for Bruce Lennon. Hasn't got much up on this member's wing, so he's looking out to the other side, trying to change the direction.
Well, he's got nothing up the flank here. The wing position, it's all Port Adelaide Talls.
Be over the back. There he is. Spanigal takes it. The long legs, the long arms, and the long body. Just too tall for anybody in the blue jumper. It's up again. At the back will be Threadgold. It was actually 14 and Robinson. This time was Threadgold. Kicks into a player, and they just can't make anything happen out there. Oh, McGuinness. One step, not even one step, it was just laying back as he was falling backwards. Throws it onto his boot and brings up their 4th goal for the afternoon.
Philip McGuinness, outstanding work. First he smothers the ball off the boot here from Threadgold. That was a great effort. Beankick doubles up with a quick hand. No room to move once again. We spoke about his working close today. McGuinness has been brilliant. And this snap for goal is no exception. Brilliant goal. And Phil McGuinness missed out an opportunity when Alfie Steig took his chance and rode particularly well last year. But Philip McGuinness, since Alfie's been injured this year, has taken his spot again and has played brilliantly. We just saw Vines come on for Tregenza on the wing.
16-6, what a blowout to 7-4. Who would have thought this at quarter time or even half time? Philippou underneath it, bustled off it by Threadgold. Weatherall couldn't get it. McGuinness got boot the ball, but Seamus Maloney was up to the challenge. Streaming away from the defensive zone, forces it out to Continuary. On the left boot, around the corner goes Muffy in the direction of Burton, but Pedler quite content to carry the ball across the line and out of play. Tim, I've got to say that your comment on McGuinness was an interesting one, because I thought last year he was overweight, and I thought Steed earned the chance, but this year McGuinness seems to have himself looking very fit again.
Spot on, David. His work in the midfield's been excellent, and he definitely had a good pre-season.
Squire over the top for Heath Martin. It's another long bomb in, 2-on-1 back in the contest. It's impossible to beat Port Adelaide today. They've just been terrific as we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
Yes, fellas, there was interchange then. Tregenza actually brought himself off, went and sat down, and the doctor's now having a look at the groin. So it looks like Simon Tregenza has pulled a groin muscle there and is going to sit down for the rest of the day.
Up again at the back, Philippou couldn't take it.
Why is it, Tim, that Port Adelaide just seem to be able to produce great full forwards?
I think it's the way they play. You move the ball in quickly in any standard of football, one-on-one, and you've got a half-decent full forward, then they're going to get enough opportunities.
Twit from half-back goes up. This chance for a wide. Couldn't get his hand to it. This time he does. His handball is spoiled. Coming through with sheer persistence was Northeast. His kick's only gone as far as Squire. Squire puts it up to Twit. Twit can go wide. He doesn't want to use Lennon. Goes back, looking for Burton. White in front. What can White do? He pushes Spanigal out the way. It's over the top. Wilson should take this, going back to... Couldn't quite find it. Jared Polton does. Back onto his left, goes back to Northeast. They'll start again.
And again, the Port Adelaide defence builds. Oh, McGuinness, confidence sky high in front of Weatherall. This is a game and a half for Phil McGuinness. Out to the far side. Again, it's 2-on-1, but this time, the double Blues rebound. Philippou couldn't take the mark, and Threadgold delivers it to Twit, who under pressure takes one step and just blasts it into the forward line. Gave their forwards very little real opportunity, and yet again Port Adelaide bottle it up and reset the defensive zone.
It's just been constant, hasn't it, across that half-back line and full-back line. And Woosnam there's the ball's just not bouncing anywhere near him. He's not having an easy day with the bounce of the ball.
So at the bounce, Spanigal opposed to White. White got his fist to the ball. Northeast paddled it further afield. Carter missed it, but Kennett goes around the corner. Under pressure again. How many times have we said that today? And out of bounds on the full.
Well, the pressure from the midfield and the forward line of Port Adelaide's been excellent. It makes the defence job a lot easier because the ball's coming in rough and it's coming in high, and you've got the numbers back there with the ruckman dropping back, and it's just been spot on today.
Richter continuing, just toe pokes it again forward. Power couldn't get over it. 29ers Vines, he does. He keeps the ball in, then comes inboard towards Polton. Polton takes it, comes down towards the members' wing. Orman Allen, 1, 2, 3, great one-handed grab. You hear the three-quarter time siren here, and Tim, this really was the Magpies quarter.
Outstanding, wasn't it? They've got a 9-goal lead now. It's something that Sturt could ill afford. I mean, technically it's definitely not out of reach if they get a good run with the breeze, and sometimes a team, when it gets momentum, can really go on with it. But you just can't see it happening with the way Port Adelaide have set up today. They're, like I said, the forward line, midfield pressure. The defence has been excellent. They're all up, and Boyd and Sturt are just starting to drop their heads now. I think White has to go in the ruck for anything to happen with Sturt. White has to create something, get something moving, and try and kick it over that half-back line, because the Magpies' half-back line have been outstanding today.
Just an experienced Magpies players there, just making sure that they're on target to winning another game this year. And we see three-quarter time scores here will indicate that the Magpies, they're 16-6, they're 102. They're up against the Double Blues. They're only 7 goals for 46. And you're watching at home live and exclusive on this holiday Monday to ABC Sport. White gets the first possession out of the centre. It goes up towards forward. Going back hard was Binky. Couldn't take it. In tight is Threadgold now. He needs to get his boot the ball. Couldn't. Brown picks it, kicks it. Will it make a goal? I think it will. Has it bounced the right way? No, it hasn't. Behind. It's the first score to the Magpies. They look dangerous again. And Threadgold under extreme pressure there. Just couldn't put his boot the ball. Will come this side. You can see Robinson, he takes the chest mark. Turns, looks towards the centre of the ground. Lees comes out, he's pushed by White. The umpire calls play on. Chance here, Weather all over the top. Running hard now will be Sonnestrom. Has he got a left leg? I think he has. He just chips it up. Wasn't that good, but it's found Burton. He takes a finger tipper and should go back. He's kicked 4, will line up for his 5th.
Well, I don't think he meant that. It's played on. Had a snap. It's an ugly snap, but I reckon it's paid off. That's his 5th. Julian Burton, 5 goals. And that's exactly the start Sturt wanted. They got a goal within the first minute, and that could just start something. I don't think Soderstrom meant this. I think he was going for goal. Didn't really penetrate the kick, and Burton was in front where you got to be. And the snap was high almighty, and quite an ugly one, but it ended up paying off, and Julian Burton kicked his 5th.
16-7 to 8 goals for the Double Blues. Need a couple of quick ones just to at least feel that they're in the match. Port Adelaide have really dominated. Spanigal out of the ruck, flicks it to Brown on the left boot, just charges it over the shoulder and goes forward. Threadgold's out at half back. You'd suggest about now they're looking for some drive, the Double Blues, and they've given the job to their skipper, to Richter. White, 2-on-1. This time paddles it over the back. That's probably a better option. Ferguson comes crashing out. He started on the bench, but we haven't seen a lot of him. And it's Weather all around the corner to Lennon. That's more cohesive.
Well, that's what we're talking about, David. It's moving the ball on a lot quicker, and gutsy work by Threadgold, a centre half back there, earned himself a free kick, and then moved it on quickly. It's the spark that they needed. And Lennon's a good kick for goal, so I'll back him for this one.
Bruce Lennon playing in the number 55 jumper, with blood over the 17 that he normally wears. Just takes his time. He knows that this is a very important kick.
Also, White then, we just said provide a contest. That time he did. He didn't have to mark the ball. He just tapped it on over the top. Provide something for the smaller runner players.
So from 48 metres out, he'll kick from the 50-metre line. With the breeze at his back, here's a magnificent kick for Lennon. That one split the centre, dead centre. 3 goals to Lennon as the Double Blues fight back. Can they mount a challenge?
Well, it's going to be hard work for them, but they've done the right thing. Within 3 minutes, they've got 2 goals, and that's exactly what they needed to get some spark up. You can already hear the crowd just starting to murmur, just starting to gain a bit of momentum. And if the Sturt side can gain the momentum and continually go over the top of that half-back line, they'll put some real scoreboard pressure on.
Plays 103. Still a commanding lead. If we see Soderson just take it out of the air. Quick hands inboard, it goes back. Now they mount another challenge. White, what can he do this time? Lees goes back hard. Ferguson takes it, left leg turns and kicks another goal. The Blues machine is about to erupt.
Well, this is exactly what I was saying. Soderstrom's got the ball out of the centre, grabbed it. Lees has made a mistake there. He should have grabbed that. That allowed Ferguson to come in and pick up the crumbs and take it away. But that's 3 goals within 4 minutes. And that's the sort of spark that they needed at the beginning of the quarter to get the crowd. Listen to the crowd now. Within a minute, you can hear a much larger tempo going on now, David.
Phil Carman sits calmly in the bunker. Graham Dunstan to his left. As the Double Blues mount a challenge. Spanigal thumps it down. Robertson was claimed by Binky as he dispatched the kick. And look at this, the Double Blues are just charging forward. Into space it goes. How will it sit? Ferguson again with the fresh leg. Takes it, handballs inboard. White further afield, handballs. Maloney, point blank range, he's missed. What an opportunity.
Well, it would have been 4 goals in 5 minutes, and Seamus Maloney will be shaking his head over that one because they needed to keep the momentum going. You see how they get the ball in quickly through the centre. Richter with the quick kick. It's allowing one-on-one options, not allowing the backman to get the ruckman back there and support him. So that would have been nice for the Sturt Football Club if Seamus Maloney had nailed that.
Tom Carr again just lets one go. He hasn't missed a target all afternoon. This is White. Will be tackled. Orman Allen's got runners going past. He's looking over the top. Decides he goes for a kick. I saw a player further afield. Good disposal by Orman Allen. Stengling, what's he going to do? He's looking across. Got a player in short. This time bombs it towards the goal face. Up high is Woosnam. He takes it. Didn't bring it to ground. Threadgold's up there. Gives the handball back to Powell. Powell goes wide. It's got Richter and Brown. Coming in late will be Lennon. He just bumps Brown off the ball. Brown throws it back. The Double Blues have runners now through this midfield. Who will take it? Oh, it's Kennett takes it and also takes the body. It allows Twitt to come in. They've got the runners going through. Lennon's out wide. It's got White inside. Lennon inside 50. Puts it on its way. It goes across the face of goals. Another behind. It's a little bit of enthusiasm now shown by the Double Blues players.
And shown by Mark Nally. He's come out of his chair, hasn't he?
He was asleep at 3/4 time. I guess a few other people were, to be blunt about it.
Well, the game had reached a bit of a lull.
Well, it fizzled. There was no physical aggression. Port Adelaide, it was a training run, and now suddenly we see the Double Blues start running and creating a contest. And it's suddenly working for them. There's some energy levels pumping, and they look like they could mount a challenge. Northeast, a high bomb. Maloney front position. Spanigal couldn't bring it to ground. Orman Allen over the top of it. It's stolen away. Pickpocketed by Maloney. He goes long towards goal, and it's through. Oh, it's hit the post.
Oh, no.
It's hit the post. Well, that would have been a complete team lifter.
Well, he saw there was 2 options. There was Burton over the top. There was also Ferguson in the corridor. He chose to go long. It looked like it was going to pay off, but in the end, Ferguson will be saying, how about me?
Yeah, Ferguson was the target. He was there by himself, not a player nearby. Carman's up off his seat, grabs his player by the nose. He's sensing something happening here, Adelaide Oval. Now, what can Weatherall do? It's over the top. He goes on with it, Weatherall, left leg around his body. He's missed it as well, and as he brought it back, I think he may have kicked it. Young Weatherall, Timmy Weatherall brings up his first major for the afternoon.
Well, that was good work then. I think Vines did the right thing. He knew if he took the ball that he was going to get tackled, so he tapped it over, played for the free kick, but it wasn't forthcoming. So that's been a bit unfortunate for him. Michael Parsons might have a couple of interchange players warming up down there, mate.
Yeah, we've got an interesting one too. Brian Lee's coming off, much to the delight of the Sturt supporters. As you can hear in the background, Matthew Ashley coming on, I guess, to get a little bit more run into the wind. And the Sturt team just reorganising as the ball goes down to the centre of the ground.
At the bounce, Richter thumps it back. Here's White, a lease of life. But White did very well to come off a wing and pick him up. They were undermanned back there. It was great play. Lennon tries to get the handball out. Twit paddles it to Weatherall. Carter was clean bowled. Weatherall is dragged to the ground and the umpire saw the free kick.
Well, I'll tell you what, when a team gets momentum, a lot of things fall into place for him, and that was a bit unfortunate. Carter trying to get back onto the footy and might have got him a bit high.
Kennett, 65 out, he can go long and score. Oh, that is a powerful kick. Now that breeze must have blown up because he was 65 out and the ball carried 25 metres through the goals.
Well, look, they're getting the ball in the midfield now. They're winning the first contest, and that's allowing them to get the ball into the forward line quickly and also have shots from outside of 50 because the ball will carry, but they may rue the missed shots from Maloney. Lennon on the run, normally a better kick than that, and Toby Kennett perhaps could have got closer than that.
Timmy, I've got to ask you from down here, what do you think of Brian Lee's coming off after really smothering Stephen White all day?
Dangerous move. I'm not sure whether he's injured or not, but you could check that out for us. I think they've got some trainers around him. That'd be the only reason he could come off, because he has absolutely smothered White.
No, I think he is injured. He looked like he was shot 5 minutes into the quarter. There was something wrong, a leg injury of some sort. We'll check that out for you because I take your point. He was doing well. Kennett again. Bombs one in. Ferguson front position. Burton from behind. But Pedler took front position and showed great courage. It's 74 to 103. We are 10 minutes into the final quarter. The Double Blues have the breeze and some momentum.
A lot of momentum, I'd say. There's some worried looks there from the ladies.
Richter, he's made a difference as he's been on. But how frustrating must it be for a coach? You've seen your side really not give much all day. All of a sudden, it's a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of run, a little bit of confidence. And this is a new side out there in the Double Blue jumpers. Ball's put down inside 50. White still unable to get his hand onto the football. And down on the boundary, you've got Michael Parsons. He looks like he's getting a bit excited.
No, I think Brian Lees is the one excited. I asked him what was wrong with him and he wasn't really sure.
The old runner injury.
Chance again for the Double Blues. Richter over the top. This mark could be taken. It is by Weatherall. Plays on and misses the kick. Or has he? The umpire indicates it's been touched. So another mistake by the Double Blues. Great work by Philip McGuinness.
Brilliant work. Absolutely brilliant. Phil McGuinness has had a great day, and now defensively might have saved the game. Look at that desperate tackle right on the last line, and they make sure it goes over for a point.
Spanigal off, Brown on for Port Adelaide. Julian Wade, who had a blitzing first quarter, and they were important touches, Tim, when the game was there to be won. He was standing up.
He's a good wingman, Julian Wade. He's had a lot of trouble with injury over the years. Just starting to find his feet now.
To half-back, Binky is the target. Oh, but Orman Allen over the top. Well, doesn't he have a spring? And he forces it on to Binky as well. It was good vision, and Binky provided the option. Now Port Adelaide get a chance to just mount a challenge again as they go to Filippo at full forward. Caught underneath the ball at the back door. Squire steadies, delivers a kick wide and into space. It was beautifully placed. Kennett plays it on quickly. Here comes Lennon crashing down through the midfield. The ball won't sit for him. He comes back inboard, needs support, couldn't get it. Holding the ball. No, it was held to him.
Yep.
Held to him, said the umpire.
Well, we might talk prior opportunity, David.
Yep.
And in my opinion, you got more than one chance to get rid of that, and I think that is holding the ball.
I have to agree, he did have an opportunity to get rid of the handball, was looking for a bit of support. Again, they go forward through Johnny Richter, getting some important touches. Ferguson's up there, going back with Jared Polton.
Beautiful work by North East then. Just held Ferguson out of that contest.
Fellas, have a look at Damien Brown where he leads. He leads short every time. He's the big man that should be back there supplying the competition, and he's forever running short for the small option.
The next time he's close, Michael, just tell him.
As Tim would. Oh, McGuinness cleverly through, feeds off to Vines. He can run and keep running. Over the top goes the handball to Waite. Waite squares it up and comes long and into space it goes. Binky one-handed. Well, what a good contest that is. Robinson and Binky, two great overhead marks. Man on man. Very good contest.
That was an excellent contest. You've got to say they both broke even on that occasion. Great stuff there. This really has developed into a contest in the last quarter.
Ball's down. Binky will go up against it with Robinson. Ashley tries to get through. Tries to get through one. Taken by the second tackle with Powell.
Well, you've got to stay consistent. You've got to give the umpires benefit of the doubt there. Very similar situation to Lennon earlier. So if they're consistent, that's all you can ask.
Waite takes it out of ruck. Gang tackle 2-on-1. The umpire says he'll have another bounce. We are 14 minutes into the final quarter at Adelaide Oval. 103 plays 75. It's a 28-point margin. So the Blues need to kick 5 goals to get back in contention. Can they do it? There is certainly time. McGuinness goes forward into space. The ball doesn't sit kindly for Port Adelaide. Threadgold gathers it, goes on the left, but he's sliced it off the outside of the boot, and it's out of bounds on the full.
Well, he's done some excellent work today, Threadgold, and that was a bit unfortunate for him. He's just under a bit of pressure. The left foot just did not come out.
Julian Waite will put it back inside 50. It's a high ball. Where's Binky? He's up there somewhere. Ball's gone out of bounds. Will be thrown in alongside the boundary post or the point post.
The next 5 or 6 minutes is absolutely vital for both clubs. If Sturt want to get back into it, they've got to get a couple of goals in that period. And if Port want to steady it, then they've got to kick at least one.
Loose ball. Mark Pachura just trying to feed it out. Sat upon it. So Port by 28 points. We played 15 minutes into this last quarter. There's still time for the Double Blues to get up. The Magpies also have increased their work rate, realising a challenge has been mounted. In there is Geddes, also Maloney.
Yet again, another bounce. Robinson took it and handballed it. Binky had the ball held to him. He couldn't get clear. Powell did a good job. But this is playing into Port Adelaide's hands, Tim. They're just washing off time off the clock.
Well, it's slowing things down. It's exactly what they'd want to do. They've got a bit desperate here. They've stopped the run of Sturt, and they're just starting to win a few of the first balls out of some of these ruck contests, which is very important. 16
minutes gone. Robinson again. Take 2. Powell got through terribly easily, and then around the corner he goes. Morgan and Lennon. Irvin, who's had a quiet day, now decides it's time to explode. Couple of important touches in this quarter for him. Goes towards Ferguson. He was clean bowled. So too was Carter. But where's the ball? It ricochets out. Soderstrom, Kennett, Ferguson needs support. White on the left boot. What can he do with it? Nothing. He has had a dirty day.
Dirty day.
You just have those days, Tim. When
you can, but it's probably one of the big criticisms of White's game. He's got to be more consistent.
You can have a bad 3 quarters and still have 4 goals in the final term and win a game, can't you?
With your form fluctuation, to be a good player, it's not to fluctuate from top to bottom so quickly.
Chance again, flying will be Soderstrom over the top there. White takes the mark. He's paid it as well. So his first mark for the afternoon. And the Double Blue supporters are happy about it. They've got Burton's up there screaming for the football to get in there as quickly as possible. Giving one-on-one is what he's trying to ask for. He's up, he gets his hands to it. In there is Polton again. Reliable defender. He goes for the safety of the boundary line.
Well, there's still 3 or 4 minutes for Sturt to get a couple of goals to really put some pressure on before time on. They've got an opportunity in the forward pocket now.
As it comes back in, White thumped it to ground. McGuinness was thrown away out of the contest by Twitt. Irvin comes through, but Ormond Allen held his nerve, flicked the ball towards the boundary line, as did Northeast. And, well, that was surprising, wasn't it? Obbs, mental pressure.
Spot on, mental pressure. He thought he had less time than what he actually had.
So Worsman bombs it forward. Look at the congestion in the Sturt forward line. Port Adelaide have got numbers back. They're just going to make sure that Sturt don't get a flurry of goals quickly. Squire went forward. Maloney caught underneath it. Couldn't mark. And we are 18 minutes in as Port Adelaide wash more time off the clock. Time running out for the Double Blues.
Well, it is. I think within the next couple of minutes, they've got to score and try and get some of that momentum back that they had early in this quarter. But to Port Adelaide's credit, they are a lot more desperate now.
It's in again. McGuinness ends up with it. Heads for the boundary line. Brad will see it over, no doubt about that.
They're well drilled, Port Adelaide, at this, aren't they, Tim?
That was always going to happen, wasn't it? You could just see that happening, and they've still got a lot of experience in that side. You know, you look at McGuinness, he's over a 100-game player. Obbs, well, he's had 149 AFL games as well as his SNFL games, so they've got a lot of experienced heads around the ball.
Morgan taken. Obbs gets the handball out. Now it's Twitt. He got it from Weatherall. Weatherall's doing some bullocking work at the bottom of the backs. 2-on-1. It's a mark, and it's been taken by Patura. He is a prodigious left footer, and from 50 with the breeze at his back, he would be a real chance.
He knows there's not much time, so he's hurrying up.
Did he hurry himself a little long? In the square, Burton sets himself. Off hands it comes. Stingline bumps it across the line, quite happy to concede the point.
Maybe he should have gone back and perhaps really concentrated on getting the distance and getting the goal, because that would have lifted the side. Just felt he might have hurried his work a little bit then.
76 plays, 103. There's still time. The 19.5-minute mark of this last quarter. Again, we'll make sure that Carr will find a target. This time he hasn't.
That was beautiful work by Brown. Good handball.
Good work there. I think the kick by Northeast is kept in. It has. The mark was missed by Ashley. Carter ends up with it. He'll be tackled by Powell, but a great handball as he was falling to the ground to find David Brown. Back to Ashley again, who's got up and run. Great second effort. Binky's in there. Threadgold's got 2 to contend with.
Well done, Threadgold.
And make sure it went over the line.
That would have been a certain goal. 2-1. He was all on his own.
We thought the attendance today might have been about 15, but 12,286 the official attendance.
A couple hopped the fence, I reckon, David.
Well, we're allowed to be wrong from time to time, Tim.
Feisty work in the pack there.
I think that's late in the game. You've got to set up for next time, don't you?
Oh, dear.
As we go down to Michael Parsons on the boundary.
The comment was something else, but that was pretty soft. You've got to admire the way Port Adelaide have closed up the game when they were under pressure. But another thing that's working against Sturt as the crowd gets involved is the fact that this breeze that's been howling down the ground all day, I think, is just about blown itself out and starting to drop away.
Lennon and Morgan, that's been an interesting duel today. Ormond Allen over the top, Waite again at the bottom of the pack, feeds it out. Carr, one step and bombs a long torpedo into the forward zone. Binky up, Robinson in pursuit of him. Now it's Geddes, claimed by Ashley. Threadgold, Filippo got him at the back door. It was very good work to Robinson, who forces it out to the far side where Squire marks defensively. Now he had Patura running, ignores that player. It's further afield, the long option taken. Stingline from behind, Kennett from the front. Neither player could take it. Lennon finally releases the ball to Twitt, who's running. The Double Blues need a couple of quick ones. Soderstrom, couple of steps and squares it into Ferguson, being the target. Push for him, and the umpire's given it.
Well, we'll have to have a look at this one, David. He definitely
Took a dive.
overreacted, didn't he?
Northeast just touched him.
He felt the touch, but that's clever play. If you can,
A lot of coaches don't like that, though. I mean, he's going to get a free
True.
kick this time.
But if you can suck the umpire in, and I think he has on this occasion.
So Ferguson, who's kicked 14 goals in the last 2 matches for the Double Blues reserves, lines up from 35 metres out slight angle. And this is a very important kick, and you just feel the momentum flowing out of the Double Blues. Port Adelaide will hold on. We're 22.5 minutes, and I think that was their last hurray, the Double Blues, and Ferguson's missed.
Well, I'll give you that, David Mackay. Ferguson, you see the way he came in to kick that? He ended up right on the back of his heels as he kicked it at the shot for goal. Ended up just toe poking it, arched it in the air. It was never going to be a direct punch.
Carr brings the ball back in. It's a high ball. The jump will come. They've got the players in the front through Vines. He slips it out over the top. Northeast just holds his ground and walks away from the contest. Powell's at the back. He comes around with his right leg, kicks it high. And in a marking for the big fella in brown, Damien Brown in this case, takes a good mark overhead.
Done some good work, Brown. He's come from Tasmania, and he hasn't got a great leap, but he's very strong one-on-one.
Just chips it forward the game and just slowing it down. This is Tommy Carr again. He's got a player out, I think Jared Polton, some of his eyes, but he still takes the mark. He'll stop and go back.
It's been good today, Polton, off his half-back flank. Mark Williams in the crowd today, so he would have seen that performance and just provides a spark and run from there.
A little bit of noise in the background. That's Brian Lees, who's walking back to the race, receiving some applause from his supporters, but I'm sure the Double Blues aren't too happy with it. It's high. Wilson gets it, keeps possessions over the top to David Brown. Just a quick little kick forward. Opportunity here for Orman Allen. Lovely skills. Puts it over the top. Carter couldn't quite take it. Philippo will. The goal here would make the game interesting. He's gone to grounds. The umpire's called play on. It bounces over Lennon's head. McGuinness, who's been in everything in the second half, just chips the ball out. Wilson's there. He needs support through Lennon. He goes back again. This is Weatherall. Chip kicks it up. Sitting underneath it is going to be Richter. He's taken. Umpire will play the advantage. Now Bruce Lennon, he'll find a target in Maloney. He needs to get the ball moving. They need a goal here. This is it. He puts it on its way. It's a good kick. And it is. It's home. Seamus Maloney.
Well, he's had 3 opportunities this quarter to pop one through, and he gets his first. He has hit the post once. Port Adelaide have kicked 1 point this quarter, and Sturt have kicked 5 goals, 7. So they've certainly made a game of it, but you just suspect that if they'd have kicked, perhaps instead of 5, 7, 10 goals too, we might be seeing a different scoreline. In fact, we would, wouldn't we?
We definitely would have. I think Seamus himself would have been thinking, if only I'd have nailed that one earlier. But he certainly offered a bit for Sturt too. He certainly hasn't given in.
Well, this game, I think, has asked more questions about, this Philippo going down. It's asked more questions, Tim, that has given us. Because Port Adelaide dominated, then Sturt have been able to come back. And I think if we see these two sides in the finals, it's still an even contest. That's a throw, no question. And the advantage not allowed to flow. Stingline will take it. He's been quiet in the first half, but prominent in the second half. Tyson Stingline. Orman Allen couldn't quite gather it in. He goes for a second effort. Ferguson on the left, forces it forward. Burton's got it. Right on the line. Julian Burton has marked, and he's kicked 5 goals. Plays on quickly, but time on had already been blown. And Michael Avon says, sorry, once I've blown time on, you've got to wait for me to blow it back on.
Good work there by Ferguson just to get a quick kick forward. He's provided a bit in this last quarter. Julian Burton will be looking to finish this off.
5 goals to Burton. The question here is whether there's enough time.
Well, that's true. There would be a bit of time on in this quarter, so there still may be enough time for Sturt to get close. I don't know whether they can win it.
Port Adelaide go to Central District next week. They go to Elizabeth to play the Bulldogs. Sturt have the Eagles at Woodville Oval, our match of the day, as Burton lines up for goal number 6, and he's dragged it to the left for a point.
Well, that's why he was so disappointed, I think, at the beginning when he turned around and snapped it. He maybe should have tried the same tactic, but in the end, I think that's...
If he kicks that, they were only 15 points down.
Exactly, with probably 3 minutes to play, so still a chance.
Carter bring the ball in again. It goes high. Maloney's there. He'll sit. Couldn't take it. Twit does. He just needs to set it up. He does that. He comes back and finds Patura. Patura's got Weatherall short. He's got players out wide to be able to run it. This is Squire. The kick hasn't hit his target. He is a left leg sling. We'll come back inside and find a little bit of space. Outside 50, puts it on its way. It's a high ball. Another behind in this quarter. So it really has been costly. They've had their shots at goal. They've had inside 50 enough. Just haven't been able to convert.
Damien Squire, Tim, was recruited perhaps as a wingman to replace Brodie Atkinson, or perhaps a goal-kicking half forward. I think in 118 games he's kicked 147 goals, so he knows how to kick them. But today we've not seen any real confidence by him going to goal.
No, it's a bit disappointing for Damien because he really is a good shot for goal, and he's a great long leg, left leg, and he's finding his mark at Sturt now. He's starting to really settle in.
Squire, a high bomb. Lennon sits under this. Courage won't be a factor. Ferguson sets himself. McGuinness through, claimed, loses the ball, dispossessed, and they all go back after it, but the umpire indicates he'll have a bounce. Well, I think time has run out for double wish. We're 28 and a half minutes into the final quarter. 85 plays 103. It is an 18-point ball game. Sturt would need to kick 3 goals in the next minute to have any chance of taking any points from this match. And they're fighting for it too.
They're still putting in, and you just think, you go back over the game and you think, only if we had to put in perhaps in that third quarter and not been so far down at three-quarter time, we could have got over the top and run over the top of the Magpies, but it doesn't look like it's going to be now.
Paulton receives the free kick. Possibly a trip. Walks back slowly. The siren can only be seconds away. We played 29 and a half minutes in this last quarter. Jared Paulton, I think he's waiting for the siren. Now he goes for it. He puts it out wide. You fly from behind. Bruce Lennon takes a little. No, it wasn't Lennon, it was Robinson up over the top.
I think Robinson, Tim, has quelled Binky.
Well, it was a good battle, wasn't it? Because really, you'd say the first half was Binky's and the second half was Robinson. So, good contest.
25 metres in favour of Robinson. Still outside 50. Just beyond his range, I'm led to believe.
He doesn't kick a lot of goals, Mark, that's for sure. I think he's one of those rare players that's played over 110 games, but hasn't kicked over 10 goals.
Well, his kick really giving his forward players a chance to jump into it, but Jared Polton's read it better than most players, and he's taken a mark. Another one, he'll go back and just wait, this time wait for the siren.
He'll put out his sleeping bag now, Tim, won't he?
Looks like he's woken up with a sleepy hairdo anyway, look at that.
Flatmate of Brian Leaves, and certainly it's been good for his football, no question about that. Ashley, Geddes gets away the handball, Weatherall flicks it inboard. The siren sounded, it's all over. The Double Blues have failed in a gallant attempt to run down Port Adelaide, but today, no question, Port Adelaide the best side. 16-7, 103. Sturt 12-13, 85.